expires. If you cancel, credit, stop, and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us. T-Mobile is the largest 5G network and named fastest by OpenSignal Awards based on average speeds in USA 5G User Experience Report April 2021. Details at T-Mobile.com.
If you're a man aged 45 to 80 with a history of heart disease or stroke, please listen closely to this message. Some men with a history of heart disease or stroke also have low testosterone levels, also known as hypogonadism. Symptoms of low testosterone, hypogonadism, include decreased sexual desire, fatigue, depressed mood, and loss of body hair. If you've had a heart attack or stroke in the past and experienced the symptoms of low testosterone, hypogonadism, please consider our research study that is underway in Indianapolis. Qualified participants may receive testosterone replacement therapy or placebo and study-related care at no cost, as well as compensation for their time. Locations in Indianapolis, Franklin, and Greenfield. Please call now to speak with the research study coordinator. Dial 317-406-7900. The number again is 317-406-7900. That's 317-406-7900.
To some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood, Ameristar, and Barstool Sportsbook let you choose how you want to play. Bet on any game, anytime, anywhere. Download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register with promo code BarstoolIndiana, and get a 2-for-1 new player bonus with up to $1,000 bonus cash if you lose your first bet. Plus, at the Barstool Sportsbook at Hollywood or Ameristar, and get $50 in comps and $50 off room rates. Choose your game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT or text INGAMB to 53342 for help.
The housing market is on fire. If you're even considering buying a home, let's talk. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hello, Greg Bassett with Bassett Services Heating and Air Conditioning, serving Central Indiana since 1978. Visit us at BassettServices.com.
Bassett Services is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Go trackside with Kurt Cabin and Kevin Lee. Tonight at 7 on The Fan.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard, a pick six for the Maniac. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. Yes, sir.
Sabonis down the lane with authority.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
There was no luck last night. 13 stays at 13, and there you have it. To nobody's surprise, the Celtics hire a new coach. We'll get to that. And what was a fantastic finish last night in the NBA Western Conference Finals, game number 2. It was fantastic. Wasn't so long ago when we thought that the Pacers were getting over on the Suns. And listen, I'll jump into that because a lot of you, much like me, we've thought about this, but it's not as easy as saying, well, look where Phoenix is now compared to where the Pacers are and who got over on whom or whatever. I'm from Southern Indiana. I'm probably not going to use proper English grammar, whatever. At any rate, it was fun last night. Looks like you're going to see some teams in the East get a little bit better. Toronto, yeah, I guess give credit where credit is due in terms of losing, right? So Toronto just says, listen, we can't even get back into our own country and play. We got to play in Tampa, so screw it. Let's just lose. And it looks like that it worked out for Toronto a little bit there. I agree. The Detroit Pistons have the first overall selection. Got to believe that. So I guess you got some Eastern Conference teams that are looking to certainly get better and move off of this draft, and we'll see what the Pacers can do at 13. Yeah, I know. I told you last night that you get literally like 2 minutes and it's over. And you know what type of analogy I want to give for this, but I'm not going to do it. But literally, that is how long that it takes. And it showed one passing shot of Nancy Leonard, and that was it. So you're in the neighborhood of 13. And you need to find something. You really do. I'm a little bit surprised the Celtics. I thought sure the Celtics might end up going a different direction on that. I had Chauncey Billups in mind there. But I guess Chauncey Billups is going to end up in Portland now, maybe? I'm assuming here relatively soon we're going to find out exactly what the Pacers might be doing, what the Pacers might be feeling with that. Alex Golden of Setting the Pace is going to jump on here in the 4 o'clock hour, actually 4:30 to discuss. We're not on the same page with a couple of different things. That doesn't mean we're mad at one another or we don't like one another. Just a couple of different things we view differently. Like rotational players, things like that we view differently. I wanted Budenholzer, even though he's not available and probably won't be available. Not so much for him, but that's what makes for a good conversation. He's going to join us coming up at 4:30, and we will discuss that. Tell you what, that NBA game last night was outstanding, though. The ending was great, and I'm not even talking about the missed free throws. I am past that. And really, I never did. I'm not going to – I mean, it doesn't how should I put this? I don't get euphoric out of it, and I don't celebrate it. But I don't go, oh, either. So I guess I'm kind of middling. I don't care. There are things around here that I do move on about. And I don't often go back and talk about and rehash all this stuff that's happened 4 and 5 years ago. Now, sometimes for the sake of the argument or the conversation, you do have to reference it. But all in all, I'm logically not going to go back to a lot of that stuff. I mean, I was around here over the years when, at a time like this in the month of June where you would always play the class basketball or the Bob Knight or the Pete Rose card. And, yeah, I would rather just try to do some things, do some things, have some sparked conversation, if not enlightened conversation. So I'm not one to do that. So I wasn't celebrating last night. You could tell when that thing nicked the inside of the front rim. Really, that was, what, a centimeter from being pure, and then it wasn't. And that sucks. That's like the worst type of miss right there. Like, that is much worse to me than the one that, like, rolls around on the inside and then comes out. I mean, the one where you have this thing absolutely dialed in and a centimeter of that ball nicks the inside of the front rim. I mean, that's when you're thinking, all right, well, this rim's like the carnival rims I try to win stuff on. Those things that are oblong? Not really round, they're oblong. That's what it got me thinking. And it got him thinking, too. And he missed that second one, and you leave the door open, and an incredible play. Man, it is something, isn't it? That's why I mentioned yesterday about good fortune. And it really does take both. I mean, you have to have good fortune, and you also have to be skilled. And with that skill comes good fortune, which most of the time will equate to results, positive results. And that's what you're seeing more so than anything else with Phoenix right now. I mean, that was a game they should have lost. But they're doing everything right, and really the determining factor is having some good fortune to have all that happen. It's not like the Clippers played that badly. I mean, Ayton just got up over the top and threw it. And then I guess you could argue that guarding the inbounder probably could have been done, how should I put this, with a little bit more inspiration maybe, right? But when it comes down to it, so much of this stuff has to be absolutely perfect, and that's what transpired. And that's what happened. So I thought that was fantastic. I did. I thought that final play was great. The entire game was really good, too. There were moments when you thought that the Suns were going to be sunk, moments you thought that the Clippers were going to be sunk. The only bad part about it is, and it continues to be, and this is really easy, and I don't make light of what anybody else does, whatever content they have in shows. And I try to stay away, even though I am going to bring up something that the fellas and the lady brought up on First Take the other day about going to different markets, because this is absolutely stuff you shouldn't listen to, and they should be embarrassed to say it. But I'll bring that up a little bit later on, because really I don't watch it, but I do see it when it comes across my desktop or my handle via social media, and this, I'll play it for you a little bit later on, was just so incredibly stupid. I did want to share it to you so we could all get a good laugh out of it, because it is stupid. I mean, just stupid. But I know that I rail on the NBA officials a lot. I have dubbed them best in the world for a reason. It does continue to be something I enjoy. And last night, they're at a place where you got to do this now, but 90 seconds played out in like 33 minutes or something like that last night. It was awful. Awful. But you also got to keep in mind, without the stoppage, you don't get that setup play. That play's probably not as good, because Phoenix had how much time to sit over there and digest what exactly they were going to do? And part of that was, making sure Devin Booker set the back screen. Devin Booker is the ultimate threat on the floor. So you're not going to leave Devin Booker. You're not going to jump to the rim to help out against Ayton, because you got Devin Booker right there. Now, some people would argue I'd rather see Devin Booker, take with 0.9 remaining or whatever, a jump shot to win it, than have a dunk like that to win it. But, I mean, it was a fantastically drawn-up play that got to be digested fully, even more so by virtue of all that time they take looking over stuff. And that's just the situation they're in. I think Scott Foster stinks. He's probably viewed as one of the best, if not the best, in the NBA. I did laugh about it last night. It took forever. Everything. And now it's just a rite of passage, right? Now we're just watching and we know. But you can't tell me. You cannot tell me that there is not a piece of you while you're watching this game. And every time a ball rolls out of bounds or somebody drives to the hole or something happens where you don't see 8 out of the 10 players on the floor twist their index finger, which is now our sign. It is our global sign of we want another look. I do hate that. I do. I hate it. And it doesn't make me old and crotchety or curmudgeon-y. I just hate it. And I don't think it really matters what age you are. Young, middle, old, you probably hate it just as much as I do. But now you're in a place where you gotta. And believe me, I am talking to you as a former hypocrite of the, you know what, if technology can help, why not utilize it? Which, again, goes up on the wall of shame of one of my worst all-time takes, and that's going way back. I mean, that was even prior to, draft Andrew Luck and keep Peyton Manning, which, by the way, doesn't look so bad right now. It did then. It looked horrible then. And I said it, and I went on for months about it. But, yeah, you know what? You got the technology, and you want to get it right. I don't know. It seems like to me, when you just did it with the human error in mind or whatever, and I know how fast the game moves now, but it just seemed like it was more fulfilling to have an argument about it then than it is now. You guys agree? Anybody out there agree? Wasn't it more fulfilling then? about a missed call or a bad whistle than it is now after we look over it 9,000 times when you have another stoppage of play when 90 seconds took 33 minutes. I'm sorry, in nobody's world is that good. Not even with the incredible finish that you had. Not even for Pacer fans around here that got to watch one of their former stars that they no longer like miss 2 free throws to put the Clippers and the Suns in that situation. Incredible. But in no world is that any good, but that's where we are. But there's a lot of things that I wish, I mean, you know me, there are a lot of things I wish we could double back on. Like, there was a double technical called, was that the first quarter? With Booker and Beverly? Who was it? Who was the double technical on?
It was Paul George and Jay Crowder.
Yeah. You got it. That's who it was. Yeah, I'm confusing Booker because Booker and Rondo got into it, after that made dunk, and I don't know if we ever saw it, but it was some good stuff right there. Hey, I'm all for that. I love it. But that quick double technical is a joke, and it's stupid. And I know what they're trying to keep from having, because listen, we're at the root, we're at the epicenter of why everything in the NBA is now so hypersensitive. You go back to November of 2004, and that is yet another reason why everything in the NBA is so incredibly hypersensitive. But that didn't need to be a double technical. I mean, hell, it didn't need to be anything. One guy got mad at the other guy. Somebody stood over one guy for a minute. The other guy didn't like it. They got back up. Everybody was separated. There was nothing going on. And I don't want to see double technicals, even as useless as they are, handed out for nothing. So we were much better back then. Man, technology is going to screw us with all this. You wait one of these days. I mean, listen, here's the other thing. I got Tucker Barnhart coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour because we're going to go over some of this. We're going to go over some of the checking of the pitchers. And last night, it was beyond ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, it is ridiculous. But I love it. What do they say now? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Because there's one thing that I really missed is I talk about, the easily handing out of the double technicals. I talk about, getting your index finger and swirling it in the air because you want another look at it. The other thing that I've missed because of technology and the use of replay is managers rarely, if ever, getting mad anymore. Nobody's getting mad. You don't have it. I love the baseball was great. Earl Weaver back in the day was great. I mean, he's up in your grill. He and Doug Harvey are going at it. Fingers are being pointed. Lou Pinella's picking up bases, throwing them. Everybody is getting mad, and that has completely diffused that. And I love that part of the game. Absolutely love it. So it would make sense why I'm here for what's going on right now, because you saw it last night, and we're at the very early stages. Now, this is going to get a lot worse. You think Joe Girardi all of a sudden is going to change the way he feels about this? I mean, anybody looking for an edge right now, if a pitcher is having a fantastic outing, like DeGrom is going to get this basically after every at-bat if he's not careful. Everyone. The guy's got, an earned run average of 5? 0.5?
0.5.
I better put the point in there because 5 would not be anything spectacular, but 0.5 would be. And last night, I don't know if you saw it, when Girardi ordered the umpires to go over and check out Max Scherzer. I mean, think about that. The man started taking his pants down, and it's my hair. And then Girardi's explanation after the game was, well, I've seen him pitch so many times, he's never gone to his hair like that. I just love it. I mean, it's great. It's like, you guys watch The Naked Gun? Remember the best part of the Naked Gun, besides basically every O.J. Simpson scene? The best part about it was the baseball scene where you had the Mariners and the Angels playing, and it was Dodger Stadium, and you had all the announcers, and the late, great Leslie Nielsen, who was Frank Drebin, was playing the part of the home plate umpire. It was so great. And he goes out to the mound, and he's checking out the pitcher, looking for a gun, and Reggie Jackson obviously is packing some heat out in right field, ready to get the queen. And he's checking out the pitcher, and the pitcher's going through, and all that stuff's falling out of the pockets and stuff under his hat. It's exactly what I thought of last night. Exactly. I mean, it is a farce. And I know that Tucker is going to disagree with me, but I think it's kind of funny, and I don't mind it right now. I think it's funny. And everybody's going to get mad, and that's going to lead, I think that's going to lead to some really inspirationally fun midsummer moments of discontent. And I'm there for that too. Who's with me? I mean, it's been way too long. All right, just look at the tape. Look at the tape. Like last night, you go back to the situation where the ball was knocked out of Booker's hand and out of bounds, and they went to review that, and then Van Gundy started talking about, well, it's not fair if, it's knocked, but it goes off, Booker. It's not really fair. I mean, I always thought it was whoever it touched and then it went out of bounds was the other team's ball. That's the first thing I thought. Wait a minute. Not fair about it. But it is funny, and it leads us to have all these conversations. But in baseball, we're going to get more and more discontent. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, this makes me, I guess, in the in crowd, I'm here for it. Whether it was Scherzer or Romo last night, pants being taken down. I mean, I am here for that. That was great. And Girardi saying after the game was spectacular. Man, I never seen him go to his hair like that. My hair is sweaty. But it is going to get ridiculous, and I know it's going to drive the players nuts, and I know exactly what Tucker's going to talk about. We're also going to get Tucker on because he was 3 of 4 with 3 RBIs and a win yesterday over the Twins. And he's had a really good year. But I do want to talk about that. Is there a difference? I'm assuming there's a difference. Like, how egregious is it? Does it have to be that egregious for a pitcher to get that spin rate? Does it sound like it's Velcro being ripped apart? Oh, we got to love it. But, yeah. End result, though, our technology is really screwing with us. So as much as I wanted to make fun of Scott Foster last night, that's what they're now forced to do, and it's too bad. And it's only going to get worse. I'm still going to make fun of Scott Foster, and I'm still going to make fun of the best in the world. Because that is really easy, and that's enjoyable for me to do. But, yeah, it's only going to get worse. Hey, wait till they have, like, R2-D2 and C-3PO umpiring games. You guys ready for that? R2-D2 is going to be behind the plate, calling balls and strikes. I cannot wait for it. Yeah, last night was pretty fun. And really, the notable Pacer news took literally 25 seconds. And I don't know how many of you waited for it because you knew what the end result was going to be. And they try on ESPN to play that, like, where did that music come from, the background music? It's like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Something like that. It's got that really dramatic boom, boom, boom. Like, yeah. And you're just going, gee whiz. You're going to pull the Pacer logo at 13. We know that. Trying to make that exciting. Hey, just doesn't get it done. At least the game did. The officiating did it. The way in which you get to use replay doesn't, but that is going to be the future. And again, I am much, much less disappointed in Scott Foster, and this is a day when I'd love to be all over that dude and others. Because Kane Fitzgerald had a really bad one in the first half. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do like to point it out. I mean, these guys are professional. Listen, I don't do that on many other levels. Maybe occasionally, collegially, but no other levels do I do that. You know, these guys aren't making enough money, but in the NBA, they are. So absolutely. Throw some darts when you can. And last night would have been one of those nights, but they are just doing what they're told and what they're supposed to do. So you just put your hands up. And in Major League Baseball, keep it up until I guess we move on. Because this is going to be funny, and this might be the inspiration behind getting some good back and forth, maybe a good solid bench clearer. And we saw what Castellanos got suspended for at the beginning of the season, which was nothing. Can you imagine? I mean, this is exactly what that's going to lead to. I mean, were these guys, that's why you got to ask Tucker, were these guys all using, like, what the naked gun? They have emery boards and hacksaws and everything else out there on their person. Who was noted back in the day for doctoring the baseball with an emery board? Was it Kevin Gross, I believe? I mean, it is incredible. Hey, there's some pitchers in the Hall of Fame that are celebrated, and that's exactly what they did. But I do find this hilarious. We'll see if Tucker Barnhart, the Gold Glove Award-winning two-timer of the Reds, and see what he thinks coming up at the top of the hour. Alex Golden setting the pace, going to be here at 4:30. Kevin Bowen's going to join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. If I'm going to put a timeline on when the Pacers are going to hire a new coach, I'm assuming at some point. Was it Phil Niekro that doctored? I thought Joe Niekro was the Niekro knuckleballer that doctored. He got caught with an emery board. I know Kevin Gross did too. And I'm assuming there's more than one. I guess I don't remember where Phil did, but I do remember where Joe got caught with an emery board. And these guys are knuckleballers. I think I was there for that too. I thought last night was pretty funny. And then Scherzer, now you got a good back and forth going with Girardi. People suggest that Girardi is going to do this all the time now because he wants to put an absolute stop on that. And then you look on the other side and you get pitchers that are going to tell you, you know, it is going to go. Was it David Wells that had mentioned they're going to continue to do this until you finally just put a ball on a tee at home plate and do it that way? Yeah, last night was pretty interesting, even though you got literally 20 seconds of interest when it came to something you truly cared about, and that was where the Pacers were going to end up drafting. Yeah, 20 seconds, that's about it. We can hit that if you like it, 239-1070. Email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. Show is Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. If you guys want to go there, we're also up at JMV 1070 on Twitter as well. Alex Golden, Tucker Barnhart, Kevin Bowen, and you at 239-1070. We can get this started. Anybody with me on what they're doing right now? I mean, does it make it a little bit more enjoyable? I was enjoying some of that last night. I was. My friend and catcher of the Reds will disagree with me, but I did enjoy some of that. I think he'll tell us who's doctoring on the Reds. Anybody doctoring? He may not want to get too in-depth into it. I wouldn't blame him. Because you talk about people being hypersensitive right now. There it is. No doubt about it. All right, 239-1070. Your phone calls and a lot more coming up on the other side. This is 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
Jeff Bassett here with Bassett Services. We are here to take care of you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We may doze, but we never close.
Bassett is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
We're catching up with Jeff Trikel and Aaron Williams from Penn National Gaming's Ameristar and Hollywood Casinos in Indiana. Now that the Barstool app has been live for a month, Can you remind us how it's tied to the retail books through the My Choice loyalty program?
Players have the opportunity to come to each casino and make wagers and earn not only tier points, but My Cash as well. So for every $10 they bet on a straight bet, they will earn 1 tier point. And for every $5 they wager on a parlay, they will earn 1 tier point. So that's super exciting for the retail segment of the Barstool brand.
Go ahead and tell us about some exclusive features available through the Barstool app.
One of my favorite aspects of the Barstool app is the Barstool personality picks and parlays. So we offer daily opportunities to bet with or fade the Barstool team's picks and parlays.
Thanks, Jeff and Aaron. We're excited the Barstool Sportsbook is here in Indiana. You can download the Barstool Sportsbook app or head to Hollywood Casino or Ameristar Casino to place your bets today.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a no-charge appraisal? It's never asking for a credit card or charging for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan.
No risk on refinancing, but I live for danger.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Refinancing with Golden Oak is anything but risky business. And with our mortgage rates at a low 2.25%, you can save hundreds each month and skip your next 2 payments. And remember, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. Removing risk from your next purchase or refi means you can find your thrills elsewhere.
Skydiving? No. Cliff jumping. Wait, hang gliding.
Aren't you afraid of heights?
Stop. You're embarrassing me.
Get started today with our simple zipline tool at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, I'm Piper. Here's my deal. I'm going to go where my dollar goes the furthest. At Bill Estes Chevy, you can save thousands on 187 pre-owned vehicles starting at $49.95 and get $3,000 more for your trade. With 187 to choose from, you're going to find something you like at a price you love. Looking for the Equinox? Bill Estes Chevy is Indy's #1 seller for the new and pre-owned Equinox. Ask for Piper's price, get $7,000 off the new Equinox and $3,000 more for your trade. My deal's at Bill Estes Chevy, I-465 and Michigan Road, the friendliest intersection in Indy.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Summer is here. Make sure your car is ready for wherever the road takes you with Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free sale. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Quick Shred protects you and your company's identity by erasing and recycling electronics. Recycle old computers, monitors, cell phones, printers, plus document shredding. QuickShredIndy.com.
Right now it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
Sports with Dan Dakich.
Ryan Gregson.
I remember driving to see Chuck in the hospital, literally driving in a parking garage at the hospital, and like almost hitting the wall because I laughed so hard when you were doing Tom Jones. I love that you just speak truths. You put it out there. You're not always worried what people think because everyone's worried about that now, and I think you live that, man. I appreciate the heck out of you.
Thanks,
there's Dakich guys, and then there's the other guys.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Nachos, lemon heads, my dad's boat. You won't go down cause my
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live if you guys want to get there. We're going to Avon on Friday. Backyard Bourbon broadcast #1 for the summer of 2021. Brought to you by Heaven Hill Distillery, Connecticut Water, New Belgium Brewing, and our friends Richard and the gang up at Ford's Garage. Jeremiah Wheatley's in Avon's where we're going coming up on Friday. Cannot wait for it. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. JMV, who was it that used to doctor the ball with Crisco, Bardol, and Vagisil? That would have been Ed Harris in Major League. Casey in Ellettsville. Ed Harris, the right-hander, the old crafty veteran right-hander of the Indians in Major League, which is yet another film that I watch every time that it's on. In fact, I have been so inspired, along with you, by the films that we watch, by the shows that we watch, the videos that we tune into. No matter how old they are, no matter how many times they actually air, but we do watch them through their entirety when they're on, that I've had the inspiration to start, Kyle, I haven't told you this yet, I need my own Roku channel. Is that hard? I mean, I'm looking at all this like Pluto TV and We could do much better. And it's not like Pluto TV is bad, but we could do much better. How much bankroll do I need? If you remember, and this is before you, Kyle, about 6 years ago, I crafted together my own JMV TV, and it was via YouTube, right? It was via, but the problem is, it was me like saying, "Hey," and I would lead you into videos or commercials or film clips, but it was me, and then you would stop, and then you would have to wind into what you're downloading next. Does that make sense to you?
This has to be way before
It
my
was
time.
way. Yeah, I think it was maybe a good 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe more than that. But I did it, and I liked it, but when you see that thing start spinning, man, nobody's got any patience, and you just bail. I don't blame you. The moment that little round thing spins, you go, I'm out of here. So anybody got bankroll out there for me to start we need a Roku channel with our really good ideas of what entertainment is. And I trust you much like you trust me. How much you think it costs to put Pluto TV on? I know that I guess they have the rights to old Price is Right episodes. Is that expensive? I mean, I'll tell you what, we'll just pay for really, really bad, maybe 5 or 6 episode runs of television shows. Like, where's the one, that Small Wonder where that little girl was the robot? We'll get that and air that. Look into that for me, Kyle. How much bankroll do we need to develop our own Roku channel with things that we want to see? I know we see it basically anytime we want now, but Roadhouse, on demand. You turn on, and there's going to be something that you love on. It's like this show. You're going to turn it on, and there's going to be something that you love being talked about.
A quick Google search says it costs between $15 to $20,000 to develop your own Roku channel.
Oh. I think that's within striking distance. I don't have, no.
Say, not for me.
Within striking distance right now. Who's with me? 239-1070. Get Coach O'Neill on here. He has coached many great Brownsburg former players, and the one is going to join us at the top of the hour, Tucker Barnhart. Hello, Coach.
Hey, JMV.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Baseball season. It's a beautiful day today, and I'm listening to you guys.
That is awesome, man. I tell you what, the baseball season ended with a bang. Shout out to Du Bois County, who owned it yesterday in those 2 finals games.
That's good baseball down there. Congratulations to them.
You got it.
Hey, I was calling for 2 things. The first thing, you were talking about doctoring in baseball.
Yep.
And how it's going on nowadays. My dad pitched in the Cubs organization back in the early 50s, and and he told me stories that he would put petroleum jelly inside his belt, and he was just a thummy sucker left-hander that 3 strikes could throw every day. But he said he made it good enough where the ball moved well, no matter what, who the batter was, the ball was going to come over the strike zone, but with movement. And I thought that was kind of classic because that's 60 years ago, 70 years ago. So it's definitely not something new.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think this was alluded to in the film I just referenced a little bit earlier, Major League, where you put something inside your nostril to make your nose run, and you can make it move a little bit with snot, can't you?
Oh, yeah. Yep. That'll work, or in your ear or wherever else you want to put it. So that's a classic. And, and the other topic was, of course, I appreciate all your support to the local high school sports and players in the major leagues, not just mine, Tucker and Lance and Drew. But if you expect to have Tucker Barnhart tell you the secret,
I know.
I don't see it happening.
It is not happening, Coach. It is not. I actually talked to Drew about 35 minutes ago before I went on the air too. So yeah, it's not happening, and I respect him like hell because of it. Yes, I do.
Well,
Coach, I appreciate you too. You call anytime, and thanks for listening.
All right, thank you guys. Take care.
It's awesome. No, I don't. I do not expect him to say anything about it. But I do want to talk about it. Anybody out there ever pitch and get any movement or any higher rate of spin by using snot? Hey, JMV, this is from Matt Murphy. It's called Kodiak. Any movie you want and live TV. Well, I want us. This is us. This is something for us. Stuff what we want. So I can get that. I got to come up with a good, and I know not everybody has a Roku stick, and I only have one, and it is in my daughter's room, but I can't lie. I'll go back there, and I'll watch old school Price is Right episodes like you wouldn't believe. I will watch it, and I have been watching it. JMV, Rick Honeycutt got in trouble for putting a thumbtack in the ball. I do dig on the animosity that this is creating. Yeah, I don't have to have fights or, as you say, you're promoting violence or anything like that. No. But some deeply rooted, higher level animosity, I am for. And this, at the very least, is creating that. I mean, apparently Joe Girardi is going to go absolutely at anybody that strikes one of his players out. I love it. Hey, Tony Donahue says, I'm shocked you know what Roku TV is. Yeah, Lainey's got it in her room, and it's got old Price is Right episodes. I love that. JMV TV was 2016, Kyle. And I don't think it lasted very long. It was an undertaking. I enjoyed it. But it's got to move a little. You can't have that. Once it starts grinding, you guys don't like it. And I don't blame you. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address, via Twitter at JMV1070. Here's something to ponder. JMV, did the Pacers really win the TJ Warren for cash trade? Because Phoenix dumped him for cash to compete and do what they're doing. We are stuck with an injury-prone player that we don't know how he is even going to fit. Now, Scott, I believe after that, Phoenix brought in Rubio, correct? That's who they brought in, and they had to dump Rubio. So it wasn't some savvy move. Now, hopefully T.J. Warren comes back, and you do have to give credit where credit is due, because when he's been on the floor, and minus this past year, and I think a lot of us probably now are even more so after Toronto's success last night, looking at a year ago, maybe that should have been the plan. Maybe that should have been the plan. And I'm not normally for that type of plan. But, I mean, Toronto just realized, hey, this is going to stink. We can't even get in our own country. We got to play in Tampa. Nobody cares. And now they could end up with Jalen Suggs, right? Well, they are. So, yeah, I wouldn't look at it, Scott, that way, because when we have seen T.J. Warren play, outside of him missing this past year, when we've seen him play, he has been good for this team. So I don't want to take that part away from him. So, yeah, I do still look at it that way. I don't think they lost anything because of it. We'll talk to Alex Golden about that. He's going to join us coming up at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Yeah, I know I referenced this a little bit earlier, too, on the show First Take yesterday morning. I mean, these guys actually had a 50-second conversation about why Stephen A. Smith was incredibly rooting for both the Clippers and the Hawks to win, because he didn't go to Milwaukee and Phoenix. And I've been to Phoenix. What the hell's wrong with Phoenix? Now, I've not been to Milwaukee, but it's not like it's Milwaukee in January or anything. People tell me that have gone to Milwaukee, it's nice, especially in the summertime. I don't know because I haven't been there. But, man, these guys just have to fly in and then watch a basketball game and then fly their ass out. How can that be so difficult? Which, again, leads us down this path. Why are we watching and/or paying attention? Exactly. That is exactly right. I think that was Jalen Rose's wife that was bagging on million. I mean, Jalen Rose played in this market, made a lot of money in this market. Yeah, how stupid can you be, seriously? And you could tell, you watched that video, I retweeted that last night, you could tell, I mean, Kellerman kind of went, hey, what's happening here? It'd be fun being in Milwaukee. I bet they're all over it. That makes me kind of want the NBA Finals in Milwaukee, if it gets there, to be like the best of 21 or something. But you're just going in to watch a basketball game. How hard can that be? What the hell are you looking forward to doing? It was like when everybody all ripped on Indy, remember? Before the Super Bowl, and everybody ripped on it. And then for a week and a half plus, it was incredible around here. Just right up everybody's butt, man. That's got to make everybody still, to this day, feel great. I mean, not only was it great around here, but Mother Nature gave us the nod. 60-degree temps in January. It was glorious. Oh, we can't go there. You can't play golf. You can't go to the beach. You're going to the Super Bowl. What's the problem? You know, that's one thing, man. You don't want to gripe about that. It's like me. Can you imagine if I came on here every day and went, oh, man, you know, I got to do this. And lucky for me, I've got a little background. I've worked at a tire shop before, and I know, you know, what that is. I know what a lot of you guys, a lot of you folks do on a daily basis compared to what I do. You know, I mention educators all the time. I know what you guys do compared to what I do, and what I do is nothing. Zero. I love what I do, and I wouldn't want to give it up for a moment, but compared to what you guys do, come on now. Not even close. I mean, some of these clowns get paid so much to do that they feel that they're untouchable. Like Big Ern McCracken. To play that for you a little bit later on. It is so outrageously stupid. Now, again, par for the course or appropriate, but outrageously stupid indeed. Quick break and we'll return. Tucker Barnhart, top of the hour. Alex Golden, bottom of the hour. Kevin Bowen, 5 o'clock hour. 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Mike DeCourcy. Let's say I were a star point guard and you wanted me. You could say to me, we're going to pay for your grad school too. That would be in the realm of possibility now. If you need a laptop, we'll take care of that. As of last Friday, the athlete couldn't get it. Now he or she can. And that's probably always the way it should have been. And I don't understand why the NCAA fought for this.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Weekday mornings at 7
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, it's John for CarX, Central Indiana locations. Joe Childers runs them 13, soon to be 14, because they're going to crack open a brand new one. State of the art, by the way, over in Brownsburg. But we're trying to keep you summer travel road ready, making sure that is the case at your Central Indiana CarX locations. For example, you can save $140 off a set of Continental or Cooper tires with the purchase of their premium installation. An AC inspection, just $19.99. Lifetime brakes, $109.99 per axle. Joe's got everything humming. That is the place where you need to go to make sure you remain summer travel road ready. Specials across the board. Car, truck, or van, the place you want to go. Tell Joe Childers I sent you. Make it CarX today.
Summer is here, so kids, tell your parents about the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
At Huntington, we've been asking ourselves, is there a way to make payday faster? And good news, everyone. Now, if your direct deposit is set up at Huntington, we'll make your paycheck available to you up to 2 days early and with no added cost to you. If you're wondering, why would a bank do that? We get it. But for us, it's about looking out for people. That's how we reinvent banking. Huntington, welcome. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply. Learn more at huntington.com/earlypay.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with Healthy Indiana plan benefits, we help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining health insurance.
BetRivers Sportsbook has supercharged its app for Apple phones. And you can download the update today from the iOS App Store. Loaded with performance improvements, the new BetRivers iOS app makes placing your bets a seamless experience. Bet with a winner. Download the new BetRivers app from the iOS App Store or update your app today. Must be 21 or over to play. Playable only in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, JMV here for Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing at 317-284-9526. I know that there is a difference, but there is no difference in the service you're going to get. And, I mean, they are the best at plumbing issues. Large or smaller emergencies, and, again, I've dealt with both. I had, on the smaller scale, them take out a garbage disposal that was an issue and replace that with another. But I also had a big-time emergency. Coldest morning of the year back in February, on a Sunday morning, in fact, and I've got no water. I make that call to 317-284-9526. They're there, and everything is back on and in working order by noon. People you can trust. Local. LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. Make that call if you need them. If you got anything plumbing-wise working on an even smaller scale as well. They're the best at 317-284-9526. That's LD Smith Plumbing online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
If you're a man aged 45 to 80 with a history of heart disease or stroke, please listen closely to this message. Some men with a history of heart disease or stroke also have low testosterone levels, also known as hypogonadism. Symptoms of low testosterone, hypogonadism, include decreased sexual desire, fatigue, depressed mood, and loss of body hair. If you've had a heart attack or stroke in the past and experienced the symptoms of low testosterone, hypogonadism, please consider our research study that is underway in Indianapolis. Qualified participants may receive testosterone replacement therapy or placebo and study-related care at no cost, as well as compensation for their time. Locations in Indianapolis, Franklin, and Greenfield. Please call now to speak with the research study coordinator. Dial 317-406-7900. The number again is 317-406-7900. That's 317-406-7900.
Something extraordinary is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. You can make any purchase, pay nothing down, and get zero interest financing for 5 whole years. Imagine a $7,000 designer ring or diamond bracelet for less than $120 a month. Zero down, zero interest for 5 years on anything. You can't miss this limited time offer. You can finance the entire purchase price, including the tax, on approved credit. Get details now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct.
Hello, Greg Bassett with Bassett Services Heating and Air Conditioning, serving Central Indiana since 1978. Visit us at BassettServices.com.
Bassett Services is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I am in the parking lot right now, hammering a bacon, egg, and cheese, hold the cheese, in preparation to go deep with 4 hits and put on a laser show to the likes of which you have never witnessed in your entire life.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Tucker Barnhart, top of the hour. Alex Golden's going to check in here, setting the pace. Pacers drafted 13. We'll talk about the Pacers' next head coach. Remember, last check 48 hours ago, it was Wojnarowski with the tweet that while in Chicago, the Pacers were going to talk to Terry Stotts, Steve Clifford, and former Pacers assistant Brian Shaw. And we shall see where that goes. I'm assuming that you get somebody in place. Looks like Boston has somebody now. What's his name? Ime Udoka from the Brooklyn Nets, who's an assistant coach. And we'll see where it goes from here. But the expectation is that maybe now you get something done here. Hey, JMV, how does a plate umpire not notice a doctored ball in and out of his pouch when he doesn't feel it? Yeah, tricks of the trade, I guess, right? Tricks of the trade. I would assume this. I would assume there are some things, like if you're talking about, rosin, spit, perspiration, things of that nature, you just go, whatever. But if you're talking about spider tack or something like that, if it sounds like, Velcro being pulled apart, then maybe you'll end up taking issue there. Hey, JMV, did you see NBADraft.net has the Pacers at 13 selecting Corey Kispert? Yeah, and that doesn't mean anything. And listen, I like Corey Kispert, but I don't like Corey Kispert on this team. I'd be worried about a guy like Corey Kispert because here's what you saw in that national title game. He was a star all year, but everybody but Jalen Suggs got outed. Really, that was a window or a vision into the window of what it might be like in the NBA for you, because that's exactly how that Baylor team played. Suggs adjusted and played to it. Kispert, Timmy, and even Ayaye didn't. He's the guy that's supposed to go, I think, late in the first round, the guard from France. So I would have trouble with that. By the way, the umpire only puts new balls in his pouch. The old ones are thrown out. I would just think that maybe you could just see. I don't know. We'll ask Tucker that, and he probably won't tell us very much, and I'll respect him for that. That's what Joe says. The MLB umpire never puts a used ball back in his pouch. And they don't use them long enough. What's the average use of a ball in Major League Baseball? That is something that I bet Tucker could answer.
My guess would be like 5 pitches.
That's what I think too. Hey, JMV, nobody likes old men like me making back-of-the-day comments, but replay reviews have ruined the flow of games. Fans' instant reactions and eliminated coaches and managers going toe-to-toe with officials. It's way better without replay reviews back in the day. I try not to say back-in-the-day stuff that much anymore because I don't want to sound like the old crusty old man, but there's a lot of truth to that. And I used to be on the other side of it. I mean, I used to be in support of technology and the whole get it right crowd, and now I'm just thinking, you're taking 33 minutes to play a minute 30. 90 seconds for 33 minutes of actual time. Yeah. Now, I will say this. It didn't ruin the end result because I don't think the end result is able to happen without the stoppage, a stoppage or two, but I mean, it does lag. It does. And it did last night, even with that greatness of the drawn-up play. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, and we got into it about me talking about being a fortunate team, being fortunate as an organization and also being good. There's no doubt number one on the list is being good at what you do. But, man, good fortune plays such a role. You saw some good fortune last night, along with some skilled players and some really savvy coaching. But, man, good fortune is right there, too. I mean, it's just not an excuse. Quick one will break. Alex Golden, Kevin Bowen before the end of the show. Tucker Barnhart, the 2-time Gold Glove award-winning catcher for the Reds. 3 driven in. He had a home run yesterday. 3 for 4 from the plate. Reds beat the Twins on an off day. Tucker joins us. That's next.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Timmy Brando joins us now.
We're going to finally have, in college football, a Cinderella that's accepted. We have got no problem with the same four teams if they're that much better. If it's Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia every year, good, go get you some. But your road is going to be different, and there will be inclusion.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Weekday mornings at 7
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, it's JMV for Mark Dietel Real Estate. Oh, he is the absolute best out there. And the promises, man, these are unique to the biz. Because he's going to offer you this. Multiple offers in 3 days, or he's going to sell it for free. I know Mark, and this is the person if you're jumping into that red-hot real estate market right now. I mean, looking at a house, upgrade, maybe downsizing a little bit. Here's the number, 317-755-4232. 317-755-4232. I do know this. This is a big deal. I mean, listen, I like lose it over small economical deals, right? But this is a big deal to you and your family. You want it done right. You don't just trust anybody. You go with the best, and that's Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232. Again, 317-755-4232. I have heard from you, and you have been impressed. If you haven't, or you're still looking, maybe getting in on that housing market, Mark Dietel is the guy you need to get a hold of. You can check it out online. That's markdietel.com, markdietel.com today.
Hey, this is Eric with Marshall Mechanical. Find out how you can get a $79 AC tune-up at callthemarshallnow.com.
Marshall Mechanical is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Hey, I'm Piper. Here's my deal. I'm going to go where my dollar goes the furthest. At Bill Estes Chevy, you can save thousands on 187 pre-owned vehicles starting at $49.95 and get $3,000 more for your trade. With 187 to choose from, you're going to find something you like at a price you love. Looking for the Equinox? Bill Estes Chevy is Indy's #1 seller for the new and pre-owned Equinox. Ask for Piper's price, get $7,000 off the new Equinox and $3,000 more for your trade. My deal's at Bill Estes Chevy, I-465 and Michigan Road, the friendliest intersection in Indy.
Hey, let's talk about this. The comfort in your home. How has it been so far this summer? Very early stages of the true summer. And if you can tell maybe something's up, then something probably is. So make sure you go with the best. That's John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141. I mean, maybe it's something where the outdoor unit is just not working the way that it should, and that's something they can easily adjust to make it right. Or, maybe your entire system is just limping down the stretch here. They can also give you great prices and great deals on something new that will get you that cool and comfortable feeling in your home and also be energy efficient for your wallet. 317-353-2141. It's Love Heating and Air. And by the way, mention the iWave, that state-of-the-art air purification system to make that breathable air even better in your home. You mentioned my name, they're going to give you $125 off. 317-353-2141 is online, love-hvac.com today.
Are you one of the millions of homeowners who haven't refinanced yet? If so, I'm here to tell you it's not too late. Hi, I'm Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial. Although the lowest rates may be in our rearview mirror, as the economy recovers from the biggest economic shock of our lifetime, rates still remain near historic lows. In fact, with the dramatic increase in home values, this may be the perfect time to put that new home equity to work. Take advantage of our cash out refi program and pay off high-rate credit cards, car loans, or other high-interest rate debt. Or finally make those home improvements you put on hold for so long. Best of all, we can do this with no closing costs. That's right, whether it's a conventional, FHA, or VA loan, we'll pay for your title, settlement, lender, and recording fees. So call Westland at 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. 888-455-3669.
NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
The VA loan is truly one of the best benefits of being in the military. Apply online today at HeroLoan.com.
NMLS number 1326241.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Your home for the 2021 NBA Conference Finals. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
JMV does not suck at all.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Alex Golden setting the pace, bottom of the hour. Who's going to be the next head coach of the Pacers? And what are we looking at 13 with the lottery last night? Alex Golden, bottom of the hour. Kevin Bowen's going to jump in here in the 5 o'clock hour. But on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, keep this up just for a moment. Two-time Gold Glove Award-winning catcher of the Reds. Friend of the show, Tucker Barnhart, joins us. Is this your walk-up right now?
I've walked out to it before. It's not my walkout currently, but it's...
All right, well, shut this off then. Hold on a second. What's your walkout? God dang it. Why does the internet lie to my ass here? Come on.
It's because I changed it. I changed it too much. I'm walking out to Breakdown by Tom Petty right now.
You know what? Somebody told me that. I thought it was Tom Petty. Somebody asked me last week. All right, now crank this up.
There we go.
Do you go with the start of it, or you just?
It's not right at the beginning, but it's.
Let's see here.
Right at first chorus, I believe.
What made you select Breakdown by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers at this moment?
Jesse Winker actually suggested it. And anything he's doing right now, I kind of want to follow suit, or anything he suggests, I follow suit. So there we are.
Have you been touching his bat with your bat?
Yes. Every day.
Has anybody ever come over and touched your glove with their glove? Does Stevenson do that?
No.
Why don't they do that?
At least not that I know of.
Why don't they come over and touch your glove? I touch your bat right now, too. You're a 3 of 4, 3 driven in, a home run yesterday. Somebody better be touching your bat.
Come on over.
I think Suarez better be touching my bat. I'm just joking. All right, it's just a joke. Hey, good show yesterday, though. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, we needed that one yesterday. The night before was a rough one. In the obviously the series in San Diego was a little tough, but definitely needed that one yesterday, and glad we pulled it out. It was a wild one, but glad we got that one to come home to.
Man, last Thursday night was such a bummer. You're down there. You had a great at bat against Melanchon, I believe is who it was. That guy's been in MLB forever, by the way. But you had a great at bat against him, and you guys tied up, and then go ahead. And I knew it, man. Who was it? Hendricks that walked on 4 pitches, the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the inning. Who was it?
Yeah, he started the inning.
Yeah, and then you kind of knew that maybe you're in trouble with that. It just
it was a tough one. It was one. To be honest, I can't really put together many other scenarios or games that I played in that have been that fun or that wild. That just like everything about that game was crazy. I mean the atmosphere, it being opening night or reopening night in San Diego was electric. So it was a hell of an environment to play in, and it was one of those things that wish we would have pulled it out. But I thought as a whole we played good ball on the road trip. We played good ball in San Diego. We just couldn't pull them out. I think at least 3 of the 4 games we played in, I think we had chances to win the games, and that's why we play 162 of them, I guess.
Nah, it was that night was awesome, and I even think the announcers alluded to it after the game. Like some of your teammates, I don't think you did, but some of your teammates kind of like sat in the dugout and stared onto the celebrating Padres onto the field like it was a playoff game or something. I would agree when he said that at the time. I don't remember which one did, but I would agree that wasn't normally what I have seen, a regular season Thursday night starting of a series on the West Coast in San Diego type of loss, the way that you guys are taking in the dugout. I mean, that was tough.
No, it definitely was. It stung a little bit, and I think there was a little bit of carryover into the following night, which, I mean, it's hard not to, with as much of a roller coaster as that game was and how emotional the game was. I mean, it really, really cool down to our last strike. Tyler Stevens had an unbelievable at bat, and then Jonathan India hits a 2-run homer on the next pitch. I mean, it against a closer, to your point, who's been around forever, that is one of the game's best. It was definitely really emotional. But like I said, I thought we played really good baseball all road trip. just some roller coaster games, some tough ones that we didn't pull out, but we needed that one yesterday, and I'm glad we got it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The other part, and Tucker Barnhart joins us, is the day before. And when Jonathan India had that knock and overslid the base, and you kind of knew right there that, well, you really needed to punch in a run or two in that situation. And when instead of having second and third and one out, you just had runner on third and two outs, there was such a huge difference. And that was a turning point or a signature moment for me in that game.
No doubt, it's one of those things, man, that you feel like, especially as a visiting team in those extra inning scenarios, when you start with a guy at second base, you almost need to score more than one, because by no means is it easy. But your outs, I guess, we'll use a gambling term, or a poker term. Your outs are a lot higher, or you have a lot more of them when you only need to score one run and you start with a guy at second base. So to be able to not get anybody across there, it definitely hurt, and was obviously seemed to me to be the turning point of the game. But those things happen; they do. I love how Jonathan India plays. He plays hard. He went into second base sliding hard, and he just overslid the base. It's just part of it, I guess.
Yeah, it's Tucker Barnhart with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. How do you feel? And I know, obviously, with 2 series sweeps with the Cardinals and the Brewers, everybody feeling good. And then, that initial game of that 4-game set in San Diego kind of sideswiped you a little bit. And I'm glad you got that one yesterday as well. But overall, how do you feel that you and this team are performing to this point of the season?
Well, I think we're definitely in the position where we want to be. I think heading into play today or into the games today, obviously we don't play, but I think we're only 4 back, and we've got a series with the Cubs coming up on this homestand. So it's just one of those things where, as the season goes, you just want to be in a spot where you can determine what happens. And I think we're playing really good baseball. Like I said, I think we're playing really clean baseball, and we're winning games in different ways. We're not solely relying on homers. Like a lot of last year, we're stringing at-bats together, stringing hits together, and scoring runs that way, as well as hitting homers and things like that. But I think that we're in a good spot. I think we're going to get Sonny Gray back here, hopefully, here pretty soon. I know Mike Moustakas is hopefully on his way back. Nick Senzel's on his way back. So we're getting some guys healthy that are going to help us, obviously, guys that we need in our lineup. And we're in a position, like I said, where we can make a run at this thing if we keep playing good ball. So I think it's all you can ask for.
What do you think about some of these, couple of these young starting pitchers that we have seen here recently?
Yeah, I think the future's super, super bright for those guys. I think Vladimir Gutierrez, I caught him in spring training a lot. Same with Tony Santillan. Guys that I've seen around the complex or caught and gotten to know a little bit just in spring training, and obviously haven't caught them at the big league level, but you'd heard a lot about them and how they're performing at the minor league level and doing great things. And so you see them come up and contribute right away. It's been awesome. I think both of them have very good fastballs, and they are younger guys, but their ability to kind of command the fastball, I think, is what each of them do the best, which is it's a hard thing to do. It's especially in today's game now where guys are throwing so hard, command kind of has taken a dip, but these guys, they do a good job of moving their fastball around the zone, which in my opinion allows them to get more swing and miss with their off-speed stuff. So I've been really impressed with catching both of them. I've enjoyed catching both of them, and I think they're only going to get better.
He is Tucker Barnhart, the 2-time Gold Glove award-winning catcher of the Reds. They have an off day. He's joining us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I mentioned this earlier, and I actually reached out to you this morning. I thought last night was hilarious. And I know you don't think this is hilarious, and I know a mutual friend of ours, former MLB pitcher Drew Storen, probably doesn't think this is hilarious either. Yet I kind of do. So let's go back and hear from a player. I know you can't tell me everything or tell us everything, but why is all this happening right now? And for the players, how bad was that situation, both of which we saw last night with pitchers in mind?
Well, the reasoning behind all of this is apparently there are or have been guys that are using a product called Spider Tack, which Spider Tack is an industrial strength glue that was designed to be used with world's strongest man, like the Atlas stones that weigh hundreds and hundreds of pounds, that you can basically put it on your hand and pick up a cinder block without squeezing it, or hold it in the air, which is mind blowing to me. And what that was doing to baseballs, or to the quality of pitchers' fastballs and their breaking balls, was it. Not to get too far into it, but the RPMs in which the ball was spinning was higher than it's ever been, which creates more movement and creates a lot more strikeouts and things of that nature. And so Major League Baseball had been doing research to figure out what their plan of attack would be. And so now what you're seeing is the outlawing of any sort of substance whatsoever other than the rosin bag to be applied to the baseball. And so pitchers are being checked. Starting pitchers are being checked as they come off the mound every other inning, and every bullpen guy is being checked as they exit the game or exit their first inning of work, I believe, unless you're the closer, when you get checked after or right before the inning, so they don't have to do it after the game if you have the chance to end the game, I guess. So that's the long and short of the rule. But yeah, I'm in an odd situation because I deal with pitchers, which obviously my job or my goal is to help out all pitchers be better and get them to be doing things as best as they possibly can. But then also I have to hit these guys. So when a guy's on the mound and you're facing him and it sounds like Velcro pulling apart because of all the sticky stuff that he has on his finger, it's a little infuriating, to be honest. But then there's a fine line too, because you don't want to get hit in the head, because these balls are very, very slick and they feel like holding a pool ball or a cue ball when they're first kind of thrown into the game. So I don't know where I stand with it. Obviously, I think that I want guys to have a grip on the ball. I want them to know where it's going. But then when you start to get to a point where you're making yourself better solely because of this one product that you're putting on your hands, I don't know how fair that is for hitters. So it's an interesting position to be in. It's going to, in my opinion, slow down the game. But it's going to be, I guess it's going to be entertaining to watch for fans and for people that follow the sport.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the things we've lost with replay would be these confrontations out there, especially with the managers. I mean, they have, I hate to put it this way, but I mean, they've been neutered when it comes to a lot of this stuff. I mean, you don't get, but part of the reason I do love baseball, I love the interaction between manager and umpire that used to happen all the time, and it rarely, if ever, happens anymore. So I thought last night was kind of entertaining. I thought the back and forth between Scherzer and Girardi was entertaining. I guess the thing I don't understand about Spider Tack is how, if it's got that great of a stickiness for everything, how's everything that you don't come into contact with not stick to your fingers to the point where you can't get them off?
I don't know exactly how the product works, but there's it's, I guess from what I understand, you put it somewhere, either on your glove or on your belt, on your glove, your belt, or your hat is where they're checking right now. So I'm assuming that people were putting it on those things. And I guess if you touched it, a lot like pine tar, it would be sticky, and you could apply it to the ball. And then the odds are that you're going to throw the ball out anyway, because as soon as it hits the ground, they get a new ball in there anyway. So right. I don't know. I think that it was obviously aiding in the quality of pitching, and taking away from some of the offense, I guess, is what their idea was.
Do you have you noticed any Spider Tack that has been on a ball that has been pitched to you this year?
I haven't. No, I mean, it's one of those things where you can kind of you can. Basically, to me, the way that I looked at it, the way that I saw it, is that what that product was doing was like making breaking balls like break twice. So like they would start to spin, they would start to break, and then it would be like this product would like grab or whatever you want to call it, and it would like take another left turn. making it extremely difficult to hit. So I can't say for sure that I was in a position where I knew somebody was throwing me a ball that had spider tack on it, but you could kind of make your assumptions that way for sure.
Hey, how long, we asked this a little bit earlier, and you would certainly be one to know, how long does a baseball stay in play? How many pitches does normally, on average, does a baseball, how many pitches does it get when it's in the game?
Man, I would say that it's very rare for there to be a ball in play for more than 5 pitches, and that might be even a stretch. I know that Joe West in particular, when he's behind the plate, every ball that's put in play, he changes. So it doesn't matter if it's the first if it's the first pitch of the inning is put in play and it's a line drive to the third baseman, he gets a new ball and puts it back there. It doesn't have to touch any dirt whatsoever. He just switches it right away.
Wow.
So I would say it's extremely rare for that to be in the inning for longer than 5 pitches.
That is absolutely incredible. And are we going to see, you think, more of what we saw last night? And will there be a time when there's going to be a cooling off period and maybe we start to forget about this? Or is it going to continue with this type of momentum as we saw last night for the foreseeable future?
Well, I think 2 things. I think that now that there's been a manager that said, hey, go check this guy, I would like to think that that's probably not the last time you're going to see it. So I don't think it's going to cool off from that perspective. And then my concern, when we were in Minnesota on the first night that they started, on Monday night, it was a little chilly. It was like 60 degrees. And obviously that's not cold. And we're going to play in games where it's a lot colder in the fall, and the balls were slick, and there was no sweat. Nobody was really sweating. I specifically wasn't sweating. I wasn't playing, but I was throwing balls back to the pitcher thinking, man, these balls are slick. And so the colder it gets, obviously the less sweat that's going to be out there, less humidity, all that stuff. And it's already hard to get a grip on the ball when it's cold, even if you have pine tar or something on your hand. I mean, I had pine tar on my shin guard I had to clean off that I just solely used for grip to throw the ball to second base or any play that I would have to make, not to aid the pitcher in any way, shape, or form. But I can't have that stuff on my shin guards anymore. And so, I'm throwing balls back to the pitcher thinking to myself, as it gets colder, it's going to get interesting. So I think it's going to kind of pick back up as we get later on in the season, because the colder it gets, guys are going to be, I think hit by pitch numbers are going to go up. And it's, to be quite frank, I think it's going to suck. And so I think it's going to come back. I think it's going to come back around. I think it may die off a little bit from just a player standpoint, kind of complaining about it. But I think that as it gets colder, people are going to be searching hard or complaining about not being able to feel the ball or grip the ball.
I wanted to see Girardi and Kevin Long fight last night. I couldn't have been the only one.
I saw that. I didn't. I saw Max Scherzer getting checked. I didn't realize it until I looked at it this morning again what had happened. So
yeah, he was. Kevin Long, who's the hitting coach for the Nationals, was yelling into the Phillies bench, and I guess he and Girardi go back a ways too with the Yankees back in the day, and Girardi was yelling at him saying, "Okay, you want some of this or something like that to K Long." Hey, in the normal baseball stuff where nothing happens, but there was some grandstanding going on as far as that is concerned. But I was there for it. I can't lie. I was entertained. I was entertained by that last night.
Through the grapevine, I've heard that Girardi is on somewhat of a crusade to get this stuff out of the game. So wouldn't be surprised if he does that more to different teams.
So you thought it was more than just Scherzer going to his hair, touching his hair too much as he did last night, right?
Do I think? I don't think so. Yeah. I think he was doing. I don't think he was doing anything.
You don't think he was going for product there? No moose or anything like that up in there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was interesting last night. It was. I mean, I thought about you, and I thought about Drew asking about this, because it seems like now this is at such a head And it comes at a time where there's not it's middle of the year, starting to get closer and closer to the All-Star break. And, these things that you go through are just magnified by that much, at times of the year like this. And it seems like last night and, for the past couple of days, it's been that way with that in mind.
No doubt. It's gonna keep up, too. I don't see it really going much anywhere.
No, you don't. All right, so you got the Braves beginning tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, we got 4 with the Braves. I think 4 with the Braves, 3 more with the Padres, and then I think 3 more with the Cubs. So we got a tough homestand ahead of us, but it should be a fun one. Hope the atmosphere is like it was in San Diego, because it was a hell of a lot of fun.
You were right about that. That place was packed and it was loud. It did. It looked like a playoff game.
It felt like it. It felt like it for sure. It was one of those things that you just kind of enjoyed being a part of it, no matter what the outcome was. I mean, obviously you play to win, you want to win the game, but just being in a situation where it felt like every pitch mattered, and it felt like the crowd felt that every pitch mattered. It was a hell of a lot of fun.
So Tucker Barnhart with us. I thought that was a pretty cool moment with Votto and that little girl in San Diego over the weekend too. Yeah,
it was cool. Joey's the best, man. He felt bad too, that getting thrown out and and not being able to. I think it was shared from our PR department or whatever with him, and he felt bad and he took care of her. So it was good.
Oh man, it was really cool too. He got tossed early in that game, and then there was a picture of her crying, and then next thing you know, I think the next day she actually had seats, and her family had seats right next to your dugout there. So.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Hey, have you you have, right? You played in Cincinnati since you've been full capacity, right?
Correct. Yeah,
yes.
we've been full, I think, now since
June the 1st.
I want to say the 1st or 2nd of June. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been good. It's been fun. Fans have been great.
Does it make you wonder how you got through it without fans?
It does. It really does. It makes you thankful and happy to be in situations where you're playing in games where the fans are in it, as it feels like, as much as you are. And I didn't really realize it in the moment. I mean, yeah, it was weird and different without any fans last year, but you don't really fully get the feel and understanding until you're playing in situations like we did in San Diego this past week. So it's definitely something that maybe I took for granted a little bit looking back. But now I'm super glad that everybody's back in the stands, because it's been a lot of fun.
Hey, what's Tatis look like when you're like playing on the field against him out there?
Exactly what you see on TV. He's special, man. He's a special player, and it just feels like something electric is going to happen.
Yeah.
Whenever he's on the field, whether he's at the plate, on the bases, playing short, whatever. He's a fun guy to watch play. There's a lot there aren't, like, I don't mean this in a rude way, but I would pay to watch a few guys play, and by a few I mean a handful, probably 2 handfuls of players to watch play, and he's definitely one of those guys on that list that I would pay to watch. So
he's so fluid. I mean, cool. I mean, he just looks like that he's a step and a half ahead of a lot of things.
He is. He's that good. He's a special player. He's gonna have a hell of a career for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, hey, keep it up. I mean, you're having an awesome season. That's great. 3 for 4 yesterday, home run, and I love the at-bat you had in that game last Thursday night in San Diego, which led to that rally. That late inning rally was awesome. I don't know how many pitches you saw in that at-bat before you got on there with a double, but it seemed like you made Melanchon work a little bit on it.
It was fun. The funny thing about that, sometimes when I'm not going good or when I feel off, I feel like out of rhythm or out of sync. And I got the 2 strikes every time in the 9th inning. If you got the 2 strike, they played Unchained by Van Halen, at least the beginning of it. And so I was singing it for the rest of the at bat when they started playing it, and so maybe it got me back in sync and in rhythm. So
it is amazing during those situations what can change up. You know what I mean? For the good, like that. I mean, that is.
No doubt about it.
Hey, let's go out strong here. There you go.
There you go.
All it takes is a little Van Halen for Tucker Barnhart right here. All right. Hey, always a pleasure. I appreciate your perspective on what's going on in MLB. And I didn't want to go, much deeper than that because I know that there are a lot of things that, I mean, you are in a really odd situation to where you not only, you work with pitchers, but you also have to, obviously hit against those pitchers. It's just, it's weird, but the perspective is certainly embraced for us around here because a lot of people, including myself, didn't really get what was going on. But I will, you know me, I'm going to tell you, I thought last night was pretty cool. I mean, I do. I know it's a pain in your ass.
For sure.
It was
funny to watch.
I may change a pace over the weekend if something goes haywire and you're involved. But last night I was, I was entertained by that. I was. Hey, shout out to the fam, to Sierra and everybody, and stay in touch. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
It's Tucker Barnhart via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Oh, podcast that up, 1075thefan.com. Kevin Bowen, top of the 5 o'clock hour. We go setting the pace. Pacers, next head coach. Pacers, 13th overall selection. Pacers off season. Alex Golden's with us next.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Barry's online.
I was wondering if you're still having those nightmares about Dykeman.
Somebody was giving me the business on the phone, and I just passed it over to Mark Dykton and said, here, you deal with it.
Well, I got one more question for you. Have you silenced the lambs?
Rubs the lotion on its skin.
If I were you, I would not pull my van over to help anybody out.
Okay, Bill.
See you later.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Weekday mornings at 7.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
It's John here for Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers, and his name is Eric Wilson. Anybody out there in the market for a new ride? If you are, I have the perfect place, the best place for you, and you're going to see construction. And normally when you see construction, you go, hey, I don't want to mess with it, but please, it is not an issue. Easily ride in and easily with the best deals in the state of Indiana. For example, a brand new Buick Encore GX, just $19,900. Start right there with the great savings on a new set of wheels, and it's one-stop shopping. Even with the construction, again, it is easy to slide in and to slide out with a new ride with Eric Wilson and my friends at Andy Moore Buick GMC. Tell them I sent you. 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
At Huntington, we've been asking ourselves, is there a way to make payday faster? And good news, everyone. Now, if your direct deposit is set up at Huntington, we'll make your paycheck available to you up to 2 days early and with no added cost to you. If you're wondering, why would a bank do that? We get it. But for us, it's about looking out for people. That's how we reinvent banking. Huntington, welcome. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply. Learn more at huntington.com/earlypay.
Commercial floor installers tired of chasing jobs, money, and trying to find good help? Well, stop. Are you working without insurance or a retirement plan? Stop that, too. The Indiana Floor Covers Association has immediate work for qualified commercial floor installers through Local Union 364. Apply at carpenters.com to change your life. You'll work with some of the best shops in the state, including American Floor Covering, Superior Carpet, Cincinnati Hardwood, and Santa Rosa. You'll get better pay insurance and a pension. So if you're an experienced commercial floor installer, change your life. Apply today at carpenters.com. That's carpenters.com.
T-Mobile is the leader in 5G. Experience it now with the powerful iPhone 12 Pro with 5G on us.
Wow, these 4K videos make me feel like a professional movie director. And boom, they're posted just like that.
And with our new Magenta Max plan, you'll get unlimited premium data that can't slow down based on how much smartphone data you use. That's right, unlimited premium data in the iPhone 12 Pro on us. Only at T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Activate up to 4K or video streams at 480p, up to 40 gigs high-speed tethering. Phone via 24 credits plus tax for well-qualified buyers. If you cancel credit, stop, and balance on required finance agreement may be due, contact us. T-Mobile is the largest 5G network and named fastest by Open Signal Awards based on average speeds in USA 5G User Experience Report April 2021. Details at T-Mobile.com.
Hey, Johnny for Connecticut Water. Joe, John, and Dennis and the absolute best. And a quick shout because Connecticut Water, the official hydration of all three parties. We're talking Backyard Bourbon broadcasts, which begin coming up on Friday with Jeremiah Wheatley and Melissa over in Avon. And thanks for the hydration of the great water. And right now you have fantastic deals on the Premier Series water softener and the K5 in-home drinking water station. If you don't have Connecticut, you don't have the best, and there are great deals to get after right now. So, Joe, John, and Dennis, make sure they know that you need Connecticut greatness, and they'll set you up. Northeast side Castleton, south side US 31 and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device for great deals today or online. That's ConnecticutIndy.com. Hey, it's JMV. If you've been watching the NBA playoffs from the sidelines, now is the perfect time to get in on all the action with FanDuel Sportsbook. Because during the conference finals, new users get 30-1 odds on any team to win their next game. So that means you can win $150 on a $5 bet. And the postseason has been spectacular, and it's made even better right now with the greatness that is FanDuel Sportsbook. So again, just sign up. Use the promo code JMV, that's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code JMV, to unlock 30-1 odds on any playoff team to win their next game exclusively at FanDuel Sportsbook. Promo code JMV right now. 21 plus and present in Indiana. New users only, must wager in designated offer market. $10 first deposit required. $150 max bonus. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with HeroLoan.com. The VA loan is truly one of the best benefits of being in the military. You can buy a house with no money down, and you can refinance and cash out up to 100% of your home's appraised value. We are locking loans in the twos and closing VA loans in as little as 14 days. Apply online today at HeroLoan.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with Healthy Indiana plan benefits, we help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining health insurance.
Jeff Bassett here with Bassett Services. We are here to take care of you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We may doze, but we never close.
Bassett is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper. Make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Tucker Barnhart, podcast 107.5thefan.com. I was looking on Twitter. I'm trying to find out why Eddie Murphy is trending. And then somebody's talking about, Mike Wells tweeted me a piece of the video that Richard Jefferson tweeted out about the greatness of the song Party All the Time. But, I mean, there's no dispute there. You cannot put Eddie Murphy and the late, great Rick James together without creating some sort of greatness. It can't happen. Now, I've said this before. Like, Eddie Murphy Raw is great for like the first 30 minutes. Delirious is great the entire time. But you put Eddie Murphy and Rick James together, and you can't go wrong. Let's see, Nia Long is trending. Nia Long is apparently the longtime partner of Ime Udoka, who is finalizing an agreement to become the next head coach of the Boston Celtics. We are big fans and always have been of Nia Long around here. Speaking of coaching vacancies, at least one so far being filled from setting the pace is Alex Golden joining us to talk some Pacers via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So we'll get to the lottery because that went as what we thought it was going to last night anyway. But do we expect maybe a move on a new head coach here relatively soon?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, they're obviously doing interviews right now at the Draft Combine in Chicago. I don't know if they're going to make a decision soon, but I think they can make one within the next couple of weeks. That wouldn't surprise me.
Any front runners? Because, I was on the Budenholzer bandwagon, and I thought, to me, with what was reported by Wojnarowski, it was, after the Bucks moved on to the East Finals, I thought that was kind of interesting timing because then he came out with here are the three. I thought maybe that was a sign that Budenholzer was not going to be available, and here are the three. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Jay Michael reported that Budenholzer was on their short list, like their top two. So if he would have been fired, I think Budenholzer would have been the strong front runner for the Pacers head coaching job. But with Boston kind of now being out of the picture, Milwaukee being out of the picture, you have to wonder if Rick Carlisle makes sense here in Indiana. I know a lot of Pacer fans would be excited about that, but if you go back and look at some of his, history with him coaching X's and O's wise, he's fantastic. But once again, I feel like if you've noticed, a lot of these firings have come down to the inability to connect with players. And I know that it's a totally different era than it once was when Rick first started being a head coach, and maybe he's got to adapt or I don't know, but I still think he's the front runner. I just really like what he brings to the table. And besides that, out of the three guys that they're interviewing right now in Chicago that Woj did report, I think Terry Stotts is my front runner of those three. Not a huge fan of Steve Clifford as a head coach. Nothing against Clifford as a coach overall. Just it's hard to sell the franchise that you're trying to, go for a deep playoff run if you hire someone like Steve Clifford who's not really had that success. And then Brian Shaw, of course, is a guy that's only really had one coaching stint with Denver, and now look at him. He's part of this G League Ignite team being their head coach. So to me, if they went with Shaw, similar to what Jay Michael reported, I think that you could see more of a transaction type of offseason where the Pacers go for a little bit of a rebuild here.
Yeah, and it's Alex Golden setting the pace on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So the Carlisle thing was all kind of hatched, and then we thought initially, there's no way that's going to happen. And then, information continues to be pumped out of Dallas about how, obviously he didn't get along with Luka, and that led to this. And it's not he just wanted to step away and doesn't want to coach any longer, but that was the reason why. I'm curious how you think his fit would be and how legit, because it was legitimized by some national folks last Friday. I was out. Kyle hit me up with a call and said, hey, some national folks are talking about it. So does that alone legitimize, you think, a chance that maybe they would have interest in Carlisle more than just fans that remember him being here prior might have?
Well, I think if you look at it, Herb Simon is familiar with Rick Carlisle, and Donnie Walsh is still somebody that I know he retired this past season, but, he still did kind of consult in a way with Kevin Pritchard on the firing of Nate Bjorkgren. So you have to wonder how much of a say those guys have in it. I just think with what we heard from Windhorst and Tim McMahon on that ESPN podcast, it was really interesting to me. One of the things they brought up, and Windhorst brought this up, and he just said, I don't know how much longer Kevin Pritchard wants to be president of basketball operations. Now, I don't know if he knows anything or if he was just kind of spitballing stuff out there, but that to me is interesting. I think Carlisle could be a guy that would like to, similar to Brad Stevens, move to the front office someday, and with his familiarity with Herb Simon, could that be a move that they do as well? Get Carlisle in here for a couple of years, and we know that Kevin Pritchard and his wife, she is pregnant. So if he wants to spend time with his child like that, that's something to me. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not saying I know anything, but that could make sense to me if he's, wanting to go that route and be a dad and kind of get away from the day-to-day business of this sport, because it's becoming, a 365 day a year job. So I don't know if Carlisle wants to be the head coach for a long, long time, but he did in his Woj reports say that he wants to continue coaching. So I do think that there's something there, but I'm not sure how real it is. We haven't heard his name attached to the Pacers besides that. But if I'm Kevin Pritchard and I see Carlisle on there and he just wants the coach, I'm really intrigued by that name.
Do you think there's an angle with Kevin Pritchard? With that, again, you call it spitballing or conversationally being dropped last week between those two national NBA guys, where ultimately maybe he wants to do something different with this team, but is not going to be allowed to. And maybe, I know fans around here have him on the clock right now, but maybe by virtue of that, is there a chance that maybe that's the reason why these guys would suggest he's put the time clock on himself?
Maybe so. That's very possible. I think Jay Michael actually said that Kevin would almost kind of want to rebuild. And, instead of being stuck in the middle, and I feel like, unfortunately, with this roster, if they run it back or just make a minor move, they're still going to be stuck in that same position. They might make the playoffs. Not trying to be pessimistic, but if you look at the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference this year, do you really think the Pacers are, going to get past them in a first-round series next season? It's hard to believe, but I do think that, it's hard to sell the fan base on a rebuild. Fans will say they want it come around draft time, but for the entirety of the season, they're not going to tune in, and they're not going to show up to games. So that's where you have to look at things from a financial situation, and I wonder how much that plays a factor into the coaching search as well, how much money they're willing to spend. With Carlisle, if he's going to be $7-8 million, are they willing to spend that much money on a coach? I don't know. But with Pritchard, I don't really know, but I do think that he might want to go more rebuild than kind of run it back with this team. But at the end of the day, he's got a great relationship with Herb Simon. I think that they're both on the same page with what's going to happen and what direction needs to be taken. So with Pritchard, fans can come at him for his poor drafting, but aside from that, I thought he's done a really good job with everything involving trades, especially when his back's been up against the wall, and with most of the signings that he's made in free agency.
Hey, Alex, I know he didn't play like it, but he has been described and certainly touted as an elite-level player. And they've said all the right things following being ousted by the Hawks a couple of days ago in that Game 7 in Philadelphia regarding Ben Simmons in Philly. But you would have to think it'd be hard-pressed to bring him back to that situation for another year. And as I mentioned, he's been described in the past, recent past, as an elite-level player. Is that a player in which you think can transform himself, can go to work, can find a shot? And you know where I'm going on this. Being as hard-pressed as this organization is here to find anything near an elite-level player, and we know other teams are going to have some interest should the Pacers have interest, if indeed Ben Simmons ultimately is made available from Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think they should have interest, and I think a lot of the hot takes are people just being prisoners of the moment. Look, this guy got completely roasted for whatever happened in that series, and rightfully so. He's afraid of the free throw line, and he has no jumper. It's something that you have to have in today's NBA. Offense is greater than defense. It's not a 50-50 thing anymore. It's really, probably a 65-35 type of thing when it comes to what's important. And I think that defense is super important, and Ben Simmons, was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. This is a guy that is super talented, but everybody talks about how low his value is. Once you get all these teams, coming out trying to throw these lowball offers and the Sixers say no, teams are going to end up paying more than what they really probably wanted to go get him. So is he going to be traded by Philadelphia? That's a question. I'm still not sure, because if he can't figure out this shot, JMV, you're talking about a top 15 player, if he can just hit free throws. I'm not even saying be a three-point threat, but just his ability to shoot free throws. You can't hack a sentence.
And I've said it's amazing he has reached the level in which he has without being able to shoot at all. That, to me, is amazing in itself.
He's an incredible playmaker. I think that he fills a position of need for this Pacers team if you're looking at what they missed the most, and I think that's a guy that can guard bigger wings. T.J. Warren can do it, but at the same time, is that the only guy you want to be able to do it? No, I think you'd like to be versatile in multiple ways, and we saw one good year of defense from T.J. Warren, and that's about it, and that was under Dan Burke. But with Ben Simmons, we've seen it pretty much since he's been in the league. So with Ben Simmons, I think if the Pacers are going to look at it, it's going to be a hard trade to make, and I think his fit next to Domantas Sabonis is not something that you love, because the spacing on the floor would be absolutely terrible. So if they do want Simmons, I think that Sabonis might have to be involved in that trade, and it might have to be a three-team trade, because clearly there is no way Philadelphia wants Domantas Sabonis with Joel Embiid on that roster.
Yeah, well, I'd mentioned probably a 3-team, but yeah, I mean, it was something I brought up on Monday that I wasn't trying to stir it up, but it certainly got people thinking a little bit. I did want to double back to Pritchard for a moment before we bailed. I don't know if I've asked you this. It may have been Jay Michael that I asked this a week or so ago, but do you think that he's been given – because you know how fans feel right now, and, I've talked about how it is time to point the finger in his direction. There's no question about that. And really, he's lucky he's not someplace else, because really any other place than here, then he's probably gone by virtue of just that coaching decision alone. But do you think maybe he's received an ultimatum from the Simons about this is what you need to do next year, or this is what's going to happen?
I don't think so. Not from what I've heard, from what I've talked to people. I feel like he's pretty safe, and I've said this for a while now, and I really haven't changed my stance on it. I think that Herb Simon and Kevin Pritchard are really close, and if you look at the former presidents of basketball operations under Herb Simon, he doesn't fire guys. I mean, look at that front office. I mean, it was Donnie Walsh. He stepped down, Larry Bird took over. Larry Bird stepped down, Pritchard took over. It's never been a firing from Herb Simon. I think what he comes down to, especially now with Herbie getting older, he likes that familiarity of knowing who's in the front office, and they work really well together. I've heard they're extremely close. So if they work really well together and Pritchard runs everything by him and Herb still – I don't know how much he calls the shots. I don't want to get down the line that far because I don't really know. But, if they're very communicative on, what shots they're going to be taking, I think they have to get the sign-off from Herb Simon for most things. I mean, he talks about it a lot when he talked about the Paul George trade, the Karis LeVert trade, all those different things. Those were all run by Herb Simon. So I think at this moment – it's not an ultimatum. I really just believe that this is someone Herb Simon feels comfortable with. And had the Pacers, not had so many injuries throughout the playoffs, who knows if, they don't want a playoff round in one of those series.
All right, before I let you go, number 13 overall, tell me right now who it's going to be. I won't hold you to it.
That's hard. Can I tell you who I want it to be?
Yeah, you can. Sure.
Okay. So I want Moses Moody from Arkansas. This is just a guy he's a good on-ball defender. He's got great perimeter shooting, shot 38% from three last year on 145 three-point attempts. This is the guy that I've been all in on. And, one of the guys I had on come on my podcast talking about Moses Moody compared his game to a Chris Middleton. I just feel like at 13, if you can get someone who's been that productive or someone that's got shades of a Chris Middleton, right? Like, I just feel like the Pacers need a guy that can, put up points, a bigger wing. They don't need a center. I mean, if they wanted to go power forward, I'd be okay with that. Going there's not a lot of power forwards, though, in this draft that I think fall down to the Pacers at 13, so that I like on my board. So he's the guy that I really want. And I know a lot of people like Davion Mitchell as well, but I still think that I would have Moses Moody a couple notches above him.
Man, some of these, and they mean nothing, but we look at them anyway, right? But by and large, these mock drafts have them either with Kispert or with Wagner. All of them. So.
I think the national media expects the Pacers to go like
they do, because that's what they've done that in the past. I mean, I think this territory, the reason why they go this direction is as appropriate because they have.
Yeah, well, and I'll say this about Corey Kispert. This is a guy that's a little bit older. He shot 44.4% from three on 162 attempts last year, JMV, 19.2 points a game, and he actually wasn't a bad defender. I mean, so I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy, but to me, if you're the Pacers, if you're picking at 13, and I'm going to ask you this question too.
Yeah.
What do you want? Do you want a proven guy that's been in college for a couple of years, or do you want a young guy that was a freshman that you can kind of hope maybe turns into a part of your future? Because right now, besides O'Shea Brissett and Goga Batadze, they don't have anybody in that next level to take over once these contracts kind of run out of things.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like Zaire Williams, for example, if he's there, and I know a lot of people didn't see too much of him at Stanford, but the things I saw, I didn't mind too much. I've seen a ton. I watched a ton of Gonzaga, and I know Kispert, and even me, as much as I like them and my kid likes them, they got so worked. I mean, he and Timmy and even Ayaye got so worked over by Baylor in that national championship game That's kind of scared me away a little bit. Not so much Suggs, because he looked like he fit in with a team that, gives you the type of pressure that you're going to see on the next level. He fits, but Kispert didn't, and that is troublesome to me. At least it was. Maybe it's unfound, but that's constantly what I think about.
Yeah, I think he's limited, though, as a player, right? Like, that's kind of what we know. He's not going to be a star. He's going to be a role player, similar. He's compared a lot to Joe Harris, and if you watch the last playoff series, you saw Joe Harris struggle. I mean, for half the series, I felt like his name should have been No-Show Joe with his inability to really provide. Like, if he has a breakout game for Brooklyn, one of those 4 games at the end there, they probably win the series, but he just was so inconsistent. That's why it's like, what do I want? Like Wagner, I'm staying away from Wagner. I know Giddey is a guy that's been rumored a lot to the Pacers as well. It's 6'8" point guard from Australia, like might be the best passer in the draft. But this team to me needs a good defensive player and good shooting. And I don't really care what their height is or whatever their wingspan is. They just need guys that can put the ball in the basket.
So you don't mind that Davion Mitchell measured out at 6 feet tall at the combine, right? That doesn't matter to you at all? He doesn't slide because of that?
I don't think he slides. I think if Golden State stays at 7, he makes a ton of sense there just because he's a veteran that they can plug in right away. Like, that's a team, like I was going to say this to you, keep an eye on Golden State because they could be willing to trade that number 7 overall pick. And if the Pacers feel like, hey, they can move up in the draft, like, to me, I'd be looking at Golden State. I'm not saying that you would even have to give up 13. You could end up with 7 and 13 if you're able to part ways with maybe a starter or two because Golden State is win now, right? They're not looking to add young players. So I think Kispert Mitchell at 7 and 14 for Golden State makes sense. But Mitchell, to me, like, this is a guy, I think the more and more I watch him in his tournament run, I was impressed. But just the fact that he's so short and that he's, this old at this point, does he make a ton of sense for this roster? That's where I'm kind of stuck at with him, JMV.
It's Alex Golden, Setting the Pace, podcast and more via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I'm saying Terry Stotts, and I'm along with you about Steve Clifford. I think Steve Clifford ends up as the top assistant defensive inclined assistant on the bench. So that's what I think is going to happen now with the Pacers until I change my mind coming up next week. So anyway, we'll catch back up here relatively soon. I may change my mind on that, but that's where I kind of sit right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Stotts as a head coach would be great, and I think Clifford underneath him as the defensive coordinator would be fantastic. He's got great player relations. I just not the guy that I want calling the shots. I don't want to swing the pendulum all the way back to defense like Kevin Pritchard.
Gotcha. Hey, Alex, I appreciate you. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Alex Golden setting the pace via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Kevin Bowen, top of the hour, 93.5, 107.5, 1070 The Fan.
Want a chance at a twosome for the Tom Dockich Memorial Golf Outing, courtesy of Franciscan Health? Visit the Fans event page to enter and find out more about Franciscan Health.
At Bank of America, we're helping to meet the need for more affordable housing through community development banking.
I'm Andy Krask, president of Bank of America, Indianapolis. My teammates and I are deepening our commitment to help meet the affordable housing need. Here in Indianapolis, we're also collaborating with Habitat for Humanity to expand options for more people. What would you like the power to do?
Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, John, for LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. I have used them in different capacities. One was easy, and it was done great. A job well done with a garbage disposal, but another was an emergency. Sunday morning, coldest day of the year on a February morning, and I got no water. And what happens? I mean, Lance and his local team got down there, got the job done before noon. They're the best. Always have this number available, 317-284-9526. For these situations, you want the best. Any of your plumbing needs, it's LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526 online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
It's late June, and we're nearing the crowning of a champion in both the NBA and NHL. And with that, you've got tons of tickets available on PropSwap with odds you simply won't find in either league right now. I'm Kevin Bowen, and I've loved seeing the NBA playoffs unfold with some preseason surprises, certainly hanging around. And if you take a look over at PropSwap, you're going to find tickets from back in the preseason where the odds for those respective teams still alive now are so much better than what you would find going to your local sportsbook. And that's the best thing about PropSwap. It's the only place in Indiana where you can buy and sell sports props, and the odds are unlike anything else you can find right now. So whether it's basketball, baseball, or even golf, buy a bet on PropSwap, hold it for a few weeks, and then sell it for a huge profit. If you're looking for better odds than what your sportsbook is offering, look no further. PropSwap is your answer, and there's never been a better time to join. New users get a free $100 match bonus for signing up, but that offer expires soon. So check out PropSwap.com or download the free PropSwap app today.
It took us years to find the most perfect soft pretzel bun for Culver's Pretzel House Pub Burger. Oh yeah, years. That's how crazy we are about this burger. Seared beef plus not one, but 2 kinds of cheese. Aged Wisconsin cheddar and our signature cheddar cheese sauce, topped with house-pickled onion, bacon, tangy mustard bistro sauce, all served on pure pretzel bun perfection.
It's a mouthful. Culver's Pretzel House Pub Burger, now for a short time. Welcome to Delicious.
Hi, welcome to Culver's.
There is definitely an art to handcrafting a rich, creamy Culver's concrete mixer. Start by scooping our so incredibly fresh vanilla or chocolate frozen custard. Then add whatever mix-ins you crave. Oreo, salted caramel, or cookie dough. Hello! Blend till you get the perfect balance of goodies from top to bottom with every blue spoonful. Indulge in a thing of beauty.
Come to Culver's and let us create a concrete mixer masterpiece just for you-know-who. Welcome to Delicious.
Have you been putting off seeing a urologist due to COVID-19, winter weather, or other day-to-day obstacles? If so, now is a great time to come see Urology of Indiana. With any one of our 50 doctors and providers, you'll receive state-of-the-art, best-in-class urologic care that is tailored to your specific needs. We diagnose, treat, and manage all adult urologic conditions and cancers, and we have some of the top recognized docs in the country. Urology of Indiana has multiple offices with any number of available appointment slots around central Indiana. We'll make it easy to see one of our board-certified physicians now so you can get on with enjoying the warm weather ahead. We are open. We are here for you. We are Urology of Indiana. Call us at 877-362-2778 to schedule an appointment or visit us at urologyin.com. That's urologyin.com.
Hey, it's JMV. I got a great idea for you. If you are in what is a red-hot real estate market, you're only as good as the realtor that you select. And Mark Dietel is the best. 317-755-4232. That's markdietel.com. Mark, Dietel.com. And I mentioned that, too. You can talk about a red-hot market, but if you don't have somebody that is absolutely in it to win it for you, like this, for example, multiple offers in 3 days, or Mark will sell it for free. In fact, Jay and Linda from Indy were ready to downsize and move to the next phase of their lives. They reached out to Mark, and Mark, per usual, got the job done right. Again, he's going to get it done for you with multiple offers in 3 days, or he will sell it for you for free. The number, 317-755-4232 with Mark Dietel Realty. 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com today.
Hi, my name is John Hasse, and I am owner of Hasse Construction and president of Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Every year, some unethical construction companies illegally pay workers cash under the table. That puts businesses Nowika represents that provide a good living wage, pay payroll taxes, and employee benefits at a major competitive disadvantage. These companies rob our state of over $405 million every single year. Imagine what could be done for Hoosiers with that money. Please visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how you can take a stand.
Don't lose out on the perfect house. Get pre-approved today with our 5-minute loan approval, thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Go trackside with Kurt Cabin and Kevin Lee. Tonight at 7 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Are you kidding?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Online inside the lounge via YouTube Live. Hello to everybody. Down on Miles Turner, link to the Kings, Warriors, Hornets, Pelicans. We'll see what happens with Miles on the movement front. I got time for you coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And again on Friday, it's our party number 1, Backyard Bourbon broadcast number 1. We're going to be in Avon with our friends from Heaven Hill Distillery. We've got the Larceny Bourbon. We have the Evan Williams. We got Brent. We have Randy. We've got Hydration. Joe, John, and Dennis of Connecticut. Richard, of course, from Ford's Garage. And New Belgium Brewing has has a brand new product called Fruit Smash Hard Seltzer, that and more from our guy Ryan Stoltz. It's our first Backyard Bourbon broadcast and our first one in Avon. Coming up on Friday, we are at Jeremiah Wheatley's. And if you want to sign up, 1075thefan.com. 2 more this summer remaining in July and August. The Backyard Bourbon broadcast, 1075thefan.com.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Summer is here. Make sure your car is ready for wherever the road takes you with Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free sale. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Rick Edelman, #1 New York Times best-selling author and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his radio show.
Hi, Rick. I have a pension and can take it as monthly income or a lump sum. Which do you think is better?
Well, the monthly check is only as safe as your employer's ability to pay it, and the amount will never rise, so inflation will erode its value. You have no access to the principal, and when you die, the money stops, even if you die tomorrow. So we usually recommend the lump sum. You get to invest the money however you want and generate your own income. You have full access anytime, and whatever's left over goes to your spouse or kids. But for some workers, the monthly option is better, so you should meet with a financial advisor to be sure that you're doing what's best for you.
That's Rick Edelman, founder of Edelman Financial Engines, with his advice on pensions. If you have a personal finance question, talk to an experienced financial planner at 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
Hey, John for Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141. If you got any issues right now with the cooling unit, let John and Chris Love take care of that for you. If you need a tune-up, if you need something new, maybe your system is not what it used to be. Great prices and just great know-how with John and Chris Love and Love Heating and Air. Also, ask about the new state-of-the-art iWave. That's breathable air in your home, the state-of-the-art air purification system, and $125 off just by mentioning my name. It's the best. Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141 online. love-hvac.com today.
From the first pitch to the last out, BetRivers Sportsbook has all the bases covered. BetRivers has a massive number of baseball betting options on each game, including pre-game player props and live in-game betting every inning. Sign up now and get a free play match of 100% on your first deposit up to $250. Bet with a winner. Bet with BetRivers Sportsbook. Must be 21 or over to play. Playable only in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's Big Joe, and the June specials are in at Penske Chevrolet. Penske is going to roll out 0% financing for 72 months or take a percentage off the price for most models. Here you go. How about the Equinox? 0% for 72 months or get 10% off MSRP. That's over $3,000. The Blazer gets 0% APR for 72 months or 8% off MSRP, and that's nearly $4,000 off. The Traverse, you pay no interest for 6 years or get 6% off MSRP, and that's nearly $3,000 in savings. And the Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, this 4x4 comes with a $3,000 rebate. Penske is also your lease return headquarters for Chevy, Buick, and GMC vehicles. They want your car. And General Manager Jay Smith and Area VP Brett Rosie will buy your used car on site. So if you got an extra car, get your best deal now at Penske Chevrolet. That's 96th and Keystone Avenue and online at PenskeChevy.com. At Penske Chevy, buy new roads. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take delivery by 6/30/21.
Quick Shred protects you and your company's identity by erasing and recycling electronics. Recycle old computers, monitors, cell phones, printers, plus document shredding. QuickShredIndy.com.
Hello, Greg Bassett with Bassett Services Heating and Air Conditioning. Serving Central Indiana since 1978. Visit us at BassettServices.com.
Bassett Services is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
The sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Tucker Barnhart earlier. We talked about what's going on between the umpires and MLB. Checking out the pitchers as we saw last night, I found it incredibly entertaining. The players, however, don't. Not surprising. Tucker, 3 of 4. 3 driven in, a home run yesterday. They're off today. They get the Braves for a weekend set at Great American Ballpark. Again, that podcast, 1075thefan.com. And Alice Golden from Setting the Pace. Last night's lottery found the Pacers still at 13. The Celtics have a new coach. Ime Udoka, who was on the bench with Brooklyn, is their new head coach, reportedly. The Pacers still in search, and we shall talk about that and more in just a second. But I did want to remind you of this. $15,000 is what it was for me to get my own channel on Roku.
Well, that's just to have your own channel. Then you're going to have to pay to have shows and stuff. You can't get those for free.
How much I'd have to pay?
Oh, a lot of money.
If I paid the rights to get Roadhouse, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Animal House, like, I don't know, 10 films that we love, would you guys watch it? Because there is a channel somewhere. I think it's on Pluto TV that has a James Bond channel, and all it does is run James Bond movies. That's all it does. I mean, if we reach and then spend inside my catalog or our catalog of great films, I can't lie to you. I am compelled by the old school Price is Right episodes. Just this stories. This story, some we know and some we didn't. I didn't realize the story behind Janice, the Barker's beauty, and her husband back in the mid-'70s that disappeared as a mountain climber and apparently was a part of the CIA trying to set up an outpost in the mountains of Afghanistan and disappeared. I didn't know about that. How is that not a stinking movie?
Plinko or Cliffhanger? Best Price is Right game.
Well, I said this today. Cliffhanger gets the nod probably because of the music and the sound effects. Plinko is probably more fun, and I still think Hole in One's the most fun. Because you get a woman up on high heels trying to hit a putt for a car, I think that's fun. Has anybody out there ever been on a game show and won a car? I believe we used to have a promotions director. Didn't Anna used to work here? Didn't she win a car on The Price is Right? And then you don't really, most of the time you don't take it home because you don't want to have to pay the taxes on it. So they give you a cash amount instead. Anybody ever won anything out there on a game show? Yeah, I like that. I don't mind the range game either on Price is Right. There were years ago, they had a live show out of Butler. They did a live show out of Butler, and Matt Taylor and I actually went out there. And it was, interestingly enough, it was the same night where Scott Rowland made that error and the Reds lost that 5th and final game to the San Francisco Giants in the postseason. But we went out there, we went backstage, and they had Hole in One and Plinko and the dice game and any number. The money game where you had to match, you got money amounts, and then you got to match the front and the back. Listen, I have won an 83 two-door Chevy Cavalier about 90 times. Seriously. Get back to that in a second. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline from 1075thefan.com. He is Kevin Bowen. That lottery was incredibly exciting last night, was it not?
First off, Hole in One and punch in the bag.
Oh, I love, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you punch the hole? That's pretty cool, too. I agree with that. That is. Now, you're a golfer. I mean, would you feel pretty confident of sinking that putt no matter what the range might be?
Boy, part of me says yes, but then part of me says I don't know if I've had that type of audience that close to me, if you catch my drift. So I don't know how well I would do there with some very attractive onlookers. So, yeah, as much as I'd like to think I could, but, man, you see some old women always get up there and they just knocking that putt. And I swear I just jump off my couch. That was the best part about being sick back in the day. Stay at home. And
it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, The Price is Right with Bob Barker. It does not get any better than that.
It does not. Yeah, we could have used some Bob Barker entertainment last night. Did Nancy Leonard even say a word on the?
I mean, they kind of cut to her really quick, and then described, who she was and what she has meant so much to this organization, just a little bit, and that was basically it. I mean, they really didn't describe anybody, and then they talked to Ben Wallace. You could tell in the background, everybody was like making fun of Ben Wallace or doing something in the background. It was a very disjointed broadcast, and I guess that's what you get where, there's just not. I mean, they try to create suspense and add the the suspenseful dramatic music in the background, but it just doesn't get it done.
Yeah, I can't say I've watched too much of the lottery over the years. Obviously, the Pacers haven't been in that mix, but it wasn't too great for them last night by any means. And now we'll put the Kevin Pritchard drafting resume and see if it can all of a sudden take a 180 from what it's looked like.
I think this came by virtue of the IBJ News and Dan Graziano. Have you seen this? And we'll jump back to this in just a second. But this is something we all knew was going to happen, and this has been confirmed. IBJ News had reported the NFL will start accepting bids from other cities besides Indy to host the Scouting Combine starting in 2023. Combine remains in Indy 2022, so next year they're going to get it. After that, it is up for grabs, and we've probably seen the end of it around here after that.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right. Obviously, if the NFL wants to listen to their general managers, listen to their scouts, they would keep it in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Team doctors as well would certainly want it here. I guess I'm a little bit torn, John, on like the whole TV money aspect. I mean, I don't think you'd be bringing that many fans to Lucas Oil Stadium for broadcasting these events on TV. So I don't know. Like, couldn't you put it on TV and still attract the same sort of numbers? Like, if you have it in LA, is it all of a sudden going to be, I don't know, maybe that would put it in prime time more.
It's so much whining. There is so much whining, and I'm not going to suggest there is a direct relatable connection here, but I tweeted this out. I don't know if you saw this or not from First Take, and I sure as hell wasn't watching it, but somebody else from Milwaukee had tweeted it out about, I'm going to say, three clowns. I guess What's His Nuts wasn't really a part of it, but they were all making fun of, Phoenix and making fun of Milwaukee and, trying to say, well, I don't want to go there. There's no, it's stupid. I mean, you're going to watch a basketball game. I mean, feel fortunate. I mean, if you're going to Milwaukee, if you're going to Phoenix, if you're going anywhere, feel fortunate. But everybody there was acting like a jackass. And I know that makes me sound overly sensitive. I'm not trying to be, but it just is so stupid. I mean, it is. You don't necessarily always have to be L.A. or New York or Chicago or Boston for something to be great. And the Super Bowl, I thought, proved that around here as well. Maybe not for every market, but around here, certainly, if there's any proof that anybody needs, that alone should do it.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl spoke volumes to the entire NFL and, frankly, parts of the world on what Indianapolis can do. And we know that. I mean, but clearly there were eyes on our city and state back in 2012 that just weren't used to, being here or seeing it. Where I have the biggest issue is, like, the NFL Combine is a huge, huge deal for all of these decision makers. Like, this is not the draft or even the Super Bowl where there's so much entertainment around it. Would the NFL like to tap into some of that? Yes, but if you really sat down 32 NFL teams and got their honest opinion on it, I think the owners would listen a lot to their GMs. And sure, they're going to hear the mighty dollar and they're going to know what that value is. Hey, if we move it here, that means whatever, X amount of money into our team's pocket, and that trickles down to you. But if you're these GMs and you're these scouts and head coaches and that, your livelihood and your job is at stake with how these interviews go and how the medical testing goes and the efficiency of that process and all the background that goes into these prospects.
Yeah.
I would like to think that of all the events, this is the one event that could win out in the end. But I'd probably, knowing how many primetime games the Colts have gotten at home over the last 5 years, 6 years, I probably know how this is going to end up.
So Kevin Bone with us. So I'll ask you this. I gave you my opinion. I don't think it'll be back in the foreseeable future. Do you think the draft will be back here outside of 2022 in the foreseeable future once it's open for bids? And do you think that Indy at some point in our lifetime here will get a draft? Do you think we'll get a draft?
Get a draft?
Yeah.
I think if the combine is not here, they would get a draft eventually. I do think there is an aspect to, appeasing markets, parts of the country. Yes, primarily do they want to be, near water and in the big metropolitan areas? Yeah, but we just saw Cleveland have a draft, and I do think that is something that Indianapolis would get if the combine isn't here. But I don't know. I guess there's more fans that descend upon this city for the draft, or at least would. So from an economic standpoint, it would probably help you out there. But that's kind of a 2 or 3 day thing. The combine's a week long. And, yeah, I don't think you would have you would probably have less people, here in Indianapolis for the combine than you would for the draft. But I think having the combine is pretty cool. I know a lot of my colleagues don't love going to it. And
I used to whine about it too. And listen, I'll have to own it. I used to whine about it, and I probably still would. And here's why. It's because you sit down there and you go through all that work, and this goes back to the early days. This is back before, it was a Radio Row spectacle. You would sit down there, and you really not gather anything more. Nobody would sit down and talk with you any more than they would if you weren't even there. And that was kind of my thing, and yeah, I was probably misguided in it. Now that it's not going to be here, I probably should have embraced it a little bit more than I did. But that was my big issue with it back then.
Yeah, and I know you run into a time slot where I think a lot of events are going on at that point,
Sure.
In terms of getting guys on live. But from a media standpoint, you got 90% of head coaches and GMs talking at one place. You obviously have all these prospects that are talking as well. And again, it's not just from a media standpoint. I'm speaking certainly from a NFL inside the building scouting department standpoint. And then you've got all the agents in town, and that's kind of the early start of free agency. Yep. The DeForest Buckner trade really took off. So I hope that it remains here, but I know how the NFL operates. And when the owners see what the dollar can look like, that dollar talks a whole lot.
All right, and that's what I brought up here within the past 15 or so minutes. It has been reported, started with the IBJ here locally, and then Dan Graziano took off with it as well, that the NFL Combine, something we've been talking about for a while and is not surprising, will be here in 2022, and then it will be open for bids after that, and we'll see if it comes back in the near future. All right, we were talking last night with Kevin Bowen, 1075thefan.com, the draft lottery, which the Pacers stay at 13. And I asked Alex Golden this a little bit earlier, too. At 13, this is an important draft, even though there's nothing hardcore lock-wise at number 13. What do you think the Pacers may be looking at now we know that it's absolutely solidified that's where they're going to draft?
Well, hopefully there isn't a Plumlee or a Luka Garza that all of a sudden would be there for the Pacers to take at 13. And really, I think it's best player available non-center division. And even if you trade one of the bigs, I still think it's best player available without, taking a center position off the board there. Davion Mitchell from Baylor is a name that I keep on coming back to. I think what you really need to find, John, is just somebody that brings a little bit of, just has a different gear. I feel like the Pacers don't have that, where whether it's athleticism or explosiveness or, just kind of that extra pop. And I feel like watching Mitchell play, he kind of brings that intensity level up, and those Baylor teammates have to meet that. And I really enjoyed watching him play, certainly on the defensive end of the floor. The best, I think he was the National Defensive Player of the Year, and he still shot over 40% from three, which is pretty hard to do. So he's a name. I didn't watch UConn a whole lot, but when I watched him this year, James Bouknight, I thought was a pretty good scoring guard that could translate to the next level as well. So I mean, we know it's not easy by any means. You certainly have got foreigners you got to throw into the mix, and guys that have been in college for just a year or so, and their stats won't wow you. And then you've got guys that have been there for 3 or 4 years, and we've seen them more on a national stage. So, I mean, when you look at, don't even think Paul George is like first team all WAC, and yet he obviously has blossomed into a big player here in the NBA. So, kind of that guard that just has a little bit more, has that extra gear, is the route that I would look to go down.
Yeah, you think this offseason, besides the head coach, is it going to be full of roster change, or are they going to closely run back, as many expect them to do? This roster that we didn't see together, we haven't seen together, but kind of know what I think the ceiling level is on it.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if they blew it up. From a free agency standpoint, you don't have a lot of flexibility. It's not like, a few years ago where you had tons of your guys that either in the starting lineup or in the top of your rotation that were free agents. You don't have that. So I really think that, Kevin's largely going to run it back. I think you can make some slight tweaks and, make a trade here or there, but it's not like you have 2 first-round picks or, 2 starters that are free agents, things like that. So I think it will be mostly running it back. But I'll reiterate something, John, that I said certainly when Nate Bjorkgren was hired. This is not just a coaching issue. This is deeper than that. I think it is personnel-driven. I know a lot of people will point to health, and that's fair to a degree, that it's a tough evaluation for this team, but you've got guys in this roster that just have massive injury history. And so banking on good health, that's like expecting 11, if you got 11 starters for the Colts that have Paris Campbell injury history, like expecting all them to be healthy, like that would be foolish. So I think some personnel tweaks are needed, especially if you want to play a style that I think Nate Bjorkgren really wanted to play, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. I thought at times he probably coached too much to his system and his philosophy than to the personnel. And I know that's a fine balance for a coach, but I think that was an issue for Nate last year. So I would be making some tweaks. Nothing crazy, but definitely make a couple moves. And I have a feeling that at the most, that's what Kevin Pritchard will be doing.
Yeah, it's Kevin Bowen with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So tell me what's going to happen with the head coach. I thought it was more than just a coincidence that after the Bucks moved on to the Eastern Conference Finals and winning, that Game 7 against Brooklyn on Saturday, that less than 48 hours later, Wojnarowski had that report about now who the Pacers are going to interview in Chicago and maybe who they've zeroed in on. So, again, clearly they were looking at Budenholzer, and with that probably likely no longer an option. Of the 3 that have been mentioned or anybody else, including Rick Carlisle, that may be on a list, what direction in which do you think they will go?
Yeah, I keep on coming back to the player relationship inside of that locker room. And if you're going to run it back, I think that's the biggest sort of, when you heard Kevin talk a few weeks ago about he's got some non-starters, to me, that is probably what he's looking for the most in this next head coach. So when I hear that, the name Brian Shaw, someone I keep on coming back to. Kevin was here early. I think his first couple of years here was when Brian Shaw was the associate head coach. Obviously, the Simons, you would think, would know him to a degree as well. So that's a name that I think, should be and will be pretty high on their list. And obviously, it's a name that Woj threw out there. But to me, he probably stands out, a little bit more than somebody like Steve Clifford. And when I look at Shaw's resume, if you look at that Denver team, Denver teams, they didn't have much talent. I think their leading scorer was Ty Lawson.
Ty Lawson was on that team, right?
Yeah, and when Ty Lawson's your best player, boy, that's not. Yeah, I forgot that Ty Lawson was a Pacer at one point as well. But I also think it's key of how do you want your coaching staff to look? To me, that head coach, when your biggest issue the last 2 cycles, and firing Nate McMillan and now firing Bjorkgren, has been the player-coach relationship. I think your head coach, if that's how you view things, I think your head coach has got to have that as kind of the dominant strength of why you're attracted to that coach. And then under him, that's where you can kind of fill in, I think, some of that X and O's, O coordinator, D coordinator, some of those things to help kind of balance out your entire staff. But considering where you are right now and the fact that you don't have a lot of free agents, I don't think you're in massive rebuild mode. I think that player relationship will be the difference, and that's why I do look at a guy like Brian Shaw. I know Terry Stotts, obviously Kevin has prior relationship with him, and that would be pretty safe, I think. But Shaw's a name that I think would make the most sense.
Yeah, I was looking at the 14-15. That was the year that Shaw was in Denver, right? That true?
That sounds right. I think he was 2 years and maybe fired.
I'd have to ask. I'd have to ask Gary Harris Sr. Was that Gary Harris's first year in Denver?
That sounds right. I mean, Gary Harris graduated high school, not loaded class of 2012, and he was 2 years at Michigan State. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna look it up now. Ty
Denver...
Lawson was on that team. Aaron Aflalo, Will Barton was on that team. Wilson Chandler, Kenneth Fareed, Morehead State was there. Randy Foy from Villanova. Gallinari was on that team back in 14 and 15, who is playing really well with the Atlanta Hawks right now, among those others. Timofey Mozgov, an ill-advised draft center back in the day, was also a part of that team.
Talk about a guy that made way too much money in the NBA, Mozgov. Yeah,
Nurkic was a rookie on that team, too.
Man, what could have been there? It doesn't scream Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Jokic sort of Denver team. So, John, I think it's tough. When you hear the term retread, it's such a negative connotation with it. You look at these Final Four coaches; they're all retread coaches. Now, obviously, Tyronn Lue, we can argue, what authority he had in Cleveland. Certainly, he was able to help them get to a title. How much help? Again, something we can debate. But if you look at the Monty Williams resume, I mean, that's not a resume that's going to win the press conference. But Monty Williams' history with USA Basketball. I mean, you'll never hear a bad word said about him. And you look at him last night, and they had an advantage on the sideline with how they were able to dial that up late in the game. Budenholzer, obviously has coached two very different teams and has had success with both of those stops as well. And Nate McMillan, of course, we know what his resume looks like. So that's where I feel like no matter what hire the Pacers make, I feel like we will look at it, and if you want to say it's a bad hire, if you want to talk yourself out of that hire, you can. But I think what we're seeing in these finals is, not everyone has the same exact resume from an NBA head coaching standpoint, and you've got 4 retreads here left with these 4 different teams.
Hey, one final quick thing, and Kyle turned me onto this on Friday when I was out, but it was talked about in a podcast with Brian Windhorst and whatever that Dave McMenamin guy that covers nationally the NBA, and they had brought up Kevin Pritchard and suggested that maybe Kevin wasn't, I guess they put it on him. Maybe Kevin had more doubt about maybe moving away at some point than, because you got a lot of fans around here that want him gone, right? I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, they're pointing the finger at him right now, but it did insinuate that maybe Kev wouldn't mind at some point to go on his own, and it made me wonder a little bit if any of that has a shred of truth to it. I wonder if the Pacers are not going to go about their short-term future in the fashion in which Kevin wants to. You know what I mean? Because he mentioned a lot in that presser about, really kind of wanting to tear it down and build it back up, and it kind of makes you wonder if he's not believing in the direction if they're going, if maybe he's laid out there, or if maybe he got an ultimatum from the Simons in that meeting after the season. Either one of those scenarios make sense?
It's weird. I've heard J. Michael reference that a little bit as well. As much as I could kind of get behind really starting over. I mean, you look at Kevin's resume in Portland, he had draft picks that was starting over. I mean, they had lottery picks for 4 or 5 straight seasons. and it was swing and miss. Obviously, the Greg Oden pick, injury-related. I mean, but guys like Martell Webster, Sebastian Telfair, I mean, like, those are lottery picks that didn't even come close to working out. A Brandon Rush trade for Jared Baylett. Like, what on Kevin's resume screams that is the guy that's going to rebuild our franchise? And I don't know, maybe if he got another swing at it, it would work out. But when I look at these draft picks, and certainly Larry Bird had a lot to say early on when Kevin came here to Indiana, but it'll make you want to spit up whatever you're eating or drinking when you look at the Portland tenure and the Indiana tenure. So as much as that might be a route that he wants to go down, yeah, I mean, if you're the Simons or you're a team around the NBA, you know, some great trades executed. But when it comes down to drafting, which is so much of it all, especially in this market, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Kevin Bowen, 107.5, thefan.com. You're in here tomorrow at noon, correct?
Yes, tomorrow and Friday, and from noon to 3, and then all next week, Jeff and I in the morning.
Man, I took a day off. I got to take more days off at some point too. You might have to sit in for me.
7 straight days. I come up. We know you. You don't take them off.
Yeah, no. I need to take a breather at some point, I think.
You got to go down to a Reds game.
Yeah, I do need to do that. I just need to go someplace and lay on a boat or something. I don't care where it is, whether it's Boggs or Patoka or Lake Monroe or wherever, and lay on somebody's boat for like a week.
I was gonna say, I mean, you could lay on a boat on the Ohio River and take in a Reds game or two and see if Tucker hits one out to you.
Exactly. Hey, pleasure. We'll see you in here coming up tomorrow, buddy.
All right, John. See you tomorrow.
Kevin Bowen, 1075thefan.com. Quick break. We shall return. I'll get to your calls coming up on the other side and get you set for tomorrow. And then Friday, when we're on the road, our first Backyard Bourbon broadcast officially underway in Avon Friday. I'll tell you where, or at least where about it might be. Coming up next.
Jeff Bassett here with Bassett Services. We are here to take care of you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We may doze, but we never close.
Bassett is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
From the beginning, the Indiana Fever have always done things our way. From starting the first professional women's league in the state to raising the trophy as champions.
Beautiful. Is that not fun to watch?
We create our own path, inspiring the next generation in the process. Join us as we write the next chapter, because this is our way, unscripted.
It's your Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum on Thursday. Get tickets at feverbasketball.com. Fever, Wings, Thursday at 7.
Hey, John here for FanDuel Sportsbook. We've all had that dream, a tie game, bottom of 9, bases juiced. Well, FanDuel Sportsbook, you get more than one shot to swing for the fences. It's beautiful because FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free. That's right. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. There's a reason why FanDuel Sportsbook is number one in America. I mean, they give you great betting selections. I mean, all types of promos, features, and more on an easy-to-execute app. It is the best. Just download FanDuel Sportsbook, but make sure you tell them who sent you. Use the promo code JMV. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code JMV. 21 plus and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet refund issued. It's non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg. We have the best selection of certified pre-owned vehicles.
Rob, why are you in my office with your feet on my desk in flip-flops?
Ryan, this office is for the general manager.
Which is me now. I got promoted.
Oh, wow. Congrats. Please sit down. Should we expect any changes?
My focus is always to save our customers the most money. Right now, save thousands on over 200 pre-owned vehicles.
Most of them are nearly new lease returns with low mileage just waiting for a new owner. It's like getting a brand new car for half the price.
Almost all of our cars are Estes certified for peace of mind. And if the vehicle has a blue flag, it's also Ford certified.
That means we have the best pre-owned cars for the best price certified. 40 of them are priced under $13,900 and get $2,000 more for your trade.
As new GM, I will put you in a great car that fits your budget.
And I will use Brian's office when he's not in it.
You know, I have hidden cameras, Rob.
This month, save thousands on over 200 pre-owned vehicles, 40 of them priced under $13,900 and get $2,000 more for your trade. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Home values all around the nation are skyrocketing. Just take a look and see what some of the houses in your neighborhood are selling for. You have a lot more equity than you think. Well, with mortgage interest rates in the twos and home values at record highs, now is the perfect time for a cash-out refinance. How much money can you save? Let's find out now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
It took us years to find the most perfect soft pretzel bun for Culver's Pretzel House Pub Burger. Oh yeah, years. That's how crazy we are about this burger. Seared beef plus not one, but two kinds of cheese. Aged Wisconsin cheddar and our signature cheddar cheese sauce, topped with house-pickled onion, bacon, tangy mustard bistro sauce, all served on pure pretzel bun perfection.
It's a mouthful. Culver's Pretzel House Pub Burger, now for a short time. Welcome to Delicious.
Hi, welcome to Culver's.
There is definitely an art to handcrafting a rich, creamy Culver's concrete mixer. Start by scooping our so incredibly fresh vanilla or chocolate frozen custard. Then add whatever mix-ins you crave. Oreo, salted caramel, or cookie dough. Hello! Blend till you get the perfect balance of goodies from top to bottom with every blue spoonful. Indulge in a thing of beauty.
Come to Culver's and let us create a concrete mixer masterpiece just for you-know-who. Welcome to Delicious.
Hey, John, from Mark Deedle Realty, 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. MarkDeedle.com, Mark, DIETEL.com. He is the only person I would use if I were selling my home and property, because I know him, and I know he is the best. And, in fact, he's going to guarantee multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or he's going to sell it for free. That is legit. And I know a lot goes into this, too. You don't just say, hey, the market's red hot, let's jump in. You got to have somebody that you know, somebody that you trust to get the job done right. No matter what you're doing in the housing market, make it Mark Deedle Realty today. 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. That's markdeedle.com. Tell him I sent you. Mark Deedle, DIETEL.com today.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Summer is here. Make sure your car is ready for wherever the road takes you with Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free sale. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
The Ride with JMV.
This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, so Ross-Ade's full capacity coming up for the football fall. We saw that Memorial Stadium is full capacity. Is Lucas Oil Stadium not? What are we doing here?
The only NFL team that has not announced they're going to be full capacity in the fall, the Colts.
I don't want to make this into anything political because you know I don't give a fat crap about that. You guys get that other places, but what's happening here?
Your guess is as good as mine.
At the risk of sounding stupid, actually, I risk that daily, hourly, minute by minute, so who cares? But you get Ross-Ade, Purdue made the announcement. IU did a couple of days ago. What's happening around here? Why? And believe me, I'm not going to dive into any politics, so don't worry about that, but it is just weird. Is Indy the only NFL market that has yet to announce it?
Yeah, literally the only NFL team that hasn't been able to say they're 100%.
Because I got big plans, guys, so somebody better stop dragging ass and get going. I've got big plans coming up here. I've got plans. We've got to do some stuff. I don't know. It just sounds... Let us go. Anyway, I just saw that from Purdue. Saw you a couple of days ago, and yeah, still hanging out here. I got a Backyard Bourbon broadcast coming up for you, though. Jeremiah Wheatley. It's Jeremiah, Melissa, and Avon. He does not, I don't think he wants me to give his address. It is the fam and 30 of their friends. And I'm bringing everything, too. Brent and Randy, Heaven Hill Distillery, hydration, which is incredibly important. I learned that at a very early age. Connecticut Water, Joe John the Dentist, the best. New Belgium Brewing, Ryan Stoltz, Fruit Smash, Hard Seltzer, all the other products from New Belgium that you love. And Ford's Garage and Richard and the gang up there with the food. This is going to be glorious on Friday. If you have yet to enter, what in the hell are you doing? 1075thefan.com. Kendall writes this. So JMV, my wife, Greene County native and Bloomfield High School alum. Shout out, Bloomfield. She was on The Price is Right. I'll have to find out who this is, Kendall. Do I know her? She was on The Price is Right and won a trip to London. Unfortunately, that was long before we dated, and she took her ex-boyfriend. No free trip for me. What game? Hey, Kendall, two things. Do I know your wife from Bloomfield? Number one. Number two, what game did she win? I'm assuming she won that trip to London by virtue of a pricing game. What pricing game was it? Outstanding. Ken writes this. My wife was on the old Hoosier Millionaire show as a stand-in for her mom. I got to meet Mark Patrick and Barbara Hobbs. My wife won $5,000. Have to admit, it was pretty cool. Did you guys give Mark a hat? I'm assuming Mark still has an incredible collection of hats from the old Hoosier Millionaire game. And, yeah, that's a quick shout-out to Drew, by the way, if Drew's listening right now. Does your old man still have all the hats? JMV regarding stadium capacity, this from David. This is Indy's problem. I guess we're waiting. BTR talks Sabonis at 239-1070. Go ahead. Welcome to the show.
What's up, JMV?
How are you, sir?
Great. Kind of wanted to call in yesterday.
You should have.
With some of these people calling in wanting to basically blow up our team.
Yeah.
As far as Sabonis goes, I looked at it earlier. He had 10 triple-doubles this season. And he hasn't always been happy, I guess, with the coaching, but he's always went out and performed. I think we can get something out of Turner, Brogdon, package him, individualize him. But, you know, I think Sabonis is kind of your franchise player right now, and I just think he's great. But another thing, Indiana University football with Tom Allen, wouldn't that be great with this 12-team playoff if they made the playoff and made a run?
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, bro.
Hey, I appreciate you. Hell yeah, it'd be neat. Be great for them. I mean, yeah. The old 12-teamer. You knew that was coming. Yeah, this game show thing makes me laugh right here. That was my man Wes Woodward of CBS 4 and Fox 59, Hoosier Know-It-Alls, 1997. Lance Ringler's down in Monroe County out of Edgewood. He writes for Golf Weekly and also is a noted official. He did not, but he also made a half-court shot at the halftime game at a Vincennes University game back in 1990. I would have been there, too. That's when our good friend Jeff Harrington, I think, was playing on that Dan Sparks team right back then. I believe that Dan Sparks team, that had been 90. I was there 88, 89, 89, 90. Would that have been the Steve Worthy-led team? Michael Boykin, who once upon a time was going to attend IU and then did not end up there. He was a 6'8" high school player out of Atlanta, if memory serves, ended up at Vincennes. Steve Worthy was from the state of New Jersey, just cheated us in an intramural game like crazy as an official. And he played 2 years at Vincennes for Dan Sparks, and I believe he ended up at Rutgers. So true. Yeah, it would have been Jeff Harrington from Edgewood, I believe, played that particular year. Yeah, the half-court shot make as a basketball game promotion, we'll save that for another time, but the game show stuff is incredibly interesting to me. Sean Bricker writes this, JMV, have you seen it from The Athletic? The Athletic has the Pacers at 13 selecting Davion Mitchell. Is there any way in the world Davion Mitchell lasts until number 13? Now, your hope is he's listed as 6'3". He measured out at the Combine in Chicago at 6 foot. Maybe he slides by virtue of that. Cyrus Gold chimes in. I was on a game show network show called Bingo America hosted by Patrick Duffy. That's awesome. Patrick Duffy, noted as Bobby Ewing for the longtime primetime soap opera known as Dallas. That is pretty good. Chris Fink says, my good friend hit it big on Pressure Luck. Good stuff. Quick break. We'll return. Tomorrow's show will tell you all about that and get you set for Friday as well. We're on the road with a Backyard Bourbon broadcast. We got your calls and more to close out this Wednesday. 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
Downtown Indy's 4th of July fireworks, presented by Visit Indy, returns on July 4th. Find out all the details about the new launch location, plus where you can see the show at 1075thefan.com.
Android users, BetRivers Sportsbook is ready for download in the Google Play Store. Just search for BetRivers and download the app. It's never been easier to get in the game. You'll enjoy the ease of use and critical speed of the new BetRivers Android app. Bet with a winner. Download the BetRivers Android app in the Google Play Store today. Must be 21 or over to play. Playable only in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, John, for Connecticut, the absolute best water with Joe, John, and Dennis, and the official hydration of the JMV Backyard Bourbon broadcast, which start coming up on Friday with Jeremiah Wheatley over in Avon. Sign up right now, 1075thefan.com. But also appreciate the water greatness that Connecticut offers you. If you don't have it, you have no idea what you're missing right now with great prices on the Premier Series water softener or the K5 in-home drinking water station. It is incredible. And as I've mentioned in the past, that, friends, is a hydration game changer with Connecticut. It's Joe, John, and Dennis, Northeast Side, Castleton, South Side, US 31 and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device today for great deals and specials on the equipment, salt, etc. And for more info, it's online, ConnecticutND.com.
At Huntington, we've been asking ourselves, is it possible to lend money at zero interest? And it totally is. Introducing Standby Cash. When you need extra cash, you can qualify for between $100 and $1,000 at Huntington. And it's free when you auto pay us back across 3 months. Why would a bank do that? Just to look out for people. That's how we reinvent banking. Huntington. Welcome. Without automatic payments, 12% APR. Eligibility requirements apply. Amount available is based on customer eligibility. Learn more at huntington.com/standbycash.
When construction companies pay their workers cash under the table, Hoosiers lose out. By not paying their fair share, these companies are stealing over $405 million a year from Hoosiers. Do you know what $405 million a year could do for your community?
8,741 state troopers, 7,937 teachers, 325 miles of resurfaced highways, 112 miles of expanded highway, 783 small business loans, 9,722 new jobs.
That's a whole lot of losses. Visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how you can take a stand.
Hey, JMV here from my friends at Diamonds Direct. Time's running out. Diamonds Direct's amazing finance offer, 5 years, 0 interest, and you do now have a deadline. It is now through June the 30th, which gives you this opportunity. Let's say you're popping the question at some point this summer. I mean, you're taking that relationship to its highest level. Well, you got to do this thing right. You have to do the engagement thing right, because if you don't, you will wear this as a badge of dishonor for the rest of your life. And believe me, you're getting advice from somebody that knows. I know how not to do it. I know how it should be done, and this is it. And this is giving you the opportunity with 5 years, 0 interest to splurge, go big, and make this thing as perfect as possible. 5-year, 0 interest, everything in the store, the best selection, the incredible warranties and guarantees you're going to find at one place and one place only. That's Diamonds Direct. 5-year, 0 interest now through June the 30th only. It's diamondsdirect.com for info and more today. Diamonds Direct, Keystone, it's a crossing.
4 teams remain in the NBA playoffs, and you have 2 teams that no one thought would be here at the start of the year. I'm Kevin Bowen. And what we are seeing in the conference finals is exactly what makes PropSwap your go-to stop this time of year. Luke Pergandy, co-owner of PropSwap, is on the line. And Luke, let's focus on the Phoenix Suns for a minute. Currently, you're seeing the Suns hover right around about plus 150 to win the title. And I was checking PropSwap earlier and saw that someone sold a ticket with the Suns at 50-1 odds that they obviously got much earlier in the season.
Yeah, so the Phoenix Suns opened at 100-1. He sold that 50-1 ticket. That's probably in February. So he doubles his money, and obviously it pays to be a buyer on PropSwap because that buyer picked up 50-1 odds, and that's now worth 25 times, what he paid for it, 24 times what he paid for it. So great trade so far.
And for what it's worth, I think the Phoenix Suns will be winning it all. And then I want to go back to the U.S. Open that we were talking all last week about. You guys had someone sell a Louis Oosthuizen ticket that at the time, was a bit risky, but then obviously how hole 17 and 18 went for Louis, that person walks away a winner, even though they were probably sweating it out there for the first 70 holes or so.
Yeah, Oosthuizen opened at around 120-1 odds. You could have found him at. And this person bet, I think he bet $20 and he sold it for 500. Don't care how the rest of the tournament goes. Oosthuizen, obviously had a poor Sunday, and seller locks in a bunch of money. And at the time when that Oosthuizen ticket sold, that was the best price in the country on him. His odds were about 5-1. The buyer got him at plus 750. So everyone won.
And if you're looking for better odds than what your sportsbook is offering, look no further. PropSwap is your answer. So check out PropSwap.com or download the free PropSwap app.
QuickShred protects you and your company's identity by erasing and recycling electronics. Recycle old computers, monitors, cell phones, printers, plus document shredding. QuickShredIndy.com.
Jimmy Cook here for the Dan Dockett Show. Dan is out the rest of the week. Kevin Bowen in tomorrow talking NBA playoffs and sharing who he'd like to see the Pacers draft. Join KB tomorrow.
The Ride with JMV.
Look at all those ding-dongs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Tucker Barnhart, Ice Golden, Kevin Bowen podcast today, 1075thefan.com. I was talking to Kyle Kinnett early in the week, and he wants to do a JMV takeover. He wants to do a live version of it from the Bullseye Event Center coming up in July. Who would be down with that? I just have to figure out how to do it. You think there's any way, you're a producer, is there any way, how would I end up doing that? That seems like that would be incredibly hard to do that live. Would
That's
it
a little
not?
too much engineering for my brain to handle.
Anybody out there, would you attend a JMV takeover live at Bullseye Event Center on a Saturday? Because that's the thought. I don't know if anybody else outside of me saying this right now has heard about this thought, but that's a thought.
Well, it sounds like pretty much what you want to do is just be an EDM, not an EDM, but a DJ at a concert.
But he wants it to go over the air, too, over B1057 airwaves. I just don't know how I would take the calls.
Yeah, that could be tricky.
Because I do this entirely myself. Kyle is such a big help to me every afternoon right here, and a necessary help. I mean, beyond necessary. I do that thing on Saturday myself, and it sometimes, I struggle with technology. Hey, Christian, get in really quick. I'll give you time tomorrow, but get in really quick. Give me 10 seconds.
Hey, do you have any idea what the Pacers ownership succession plan is?
I don't.
Like, is there anyone behind Herb Simon, like Sons or anything?
Oh, yeah, Steven Simon's there right now. I'll tell you what, call back with that coming up tomorrow. Steven Simon's there. Cody, 10 seconds worth. Give it to me.
JMV, why would you get rid of Sabonis? He's a young player. He's getting better every single year. Yes, I'd like to see more out of him than that dribble handoff, but I think a coaching change will do that.
Cody, thank you for the call. They're not going to get rid of Sabonis. As I've said, they're going to get rid of Miles this offseason. Tucker, Alex Golden, Kevin Bone. You guys, if you didn't get enough time, call back on tomorrow's show. Jeremiah Wheatley Friday, Backyard Bourbon broadcast number 1. You guys, think about this Bullseye Event Center JMV Takeover Live thing in July, too. We're back with you tomorrow at 3. 93.5, 107.5 at 1070 The Fan.
Hello, Greg Bassett with Bassett Services Heating and Air Conditioning, serving Central Indiana since 1978. Visit us at BassettServices.com.
Bassett Services is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
In the heyday game of farming, the land is fair and bright, where the wheat grows in a minute, and you can visit day or night, where the lobsters love to party, and the sun shines every day. On the birds and the bees and giraffes in the trees, the saunas with the pigs near the fish in the stream. Makes more sense if you give it all a chance in the heyday game of farming. Join over 17 million players and download Heyday for free on the App Store, Google Play, or wherever you get your apps.
BetMGM welcomes you to Showtime with a risk-free first bet up to $600. Simply sign up and use bonus code MGM6